Yeah, check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2, 2 2 2 1 2. Hello and welcome to the 2018 FreeSports Champions Cup. Da, 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 da. Not ages. Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2018 IPA Pool Champions Cup, live on FreeSports. We're here in Washington, Sunderland, for what should be a wonderful tournament. This is what we used to have in this venue just a year ago. This is the Washington Snooker Club, laid abandoned for 30 years until taken over by the IPA Pool world number one Mark Farnsworth and his business partner, and now it looks like what we are used to seeing today. A phenomenal venue now called the Sky Lounge, and it's what we're looking forward to seeing tonight on our very first Champions Cup outing. This competition will take us the length and breadth of the UK. We start in Washington. We've got Sheffield, Chester, Solihull, Twickenham, Cardiff, Greenock, Falkirk, all to come. We are live on FreeSports every Monday night at 7 o'clock for the next 21 weeks. Should be a wonderful competition. Very much looking forward to it. Stephen Jamieson along with you on the commentary, alongside Simon Webb. And here we take a look at the draw. We start with 64 players. 4 players are playing here tonight. They are Mark Farnsworth versus Jordan Cunningham and Steve Thompson versus Michael Oliver. And we'll go the length and breadth of the UK to have the rest of our games. Simon, how much are we looking forward to this?
Yeah, very, very excited for this. Yeah, can't wait to get going, really. Been looking forward to this for a long time, and it's very, very exciting for Paul and for IPA Paul.
Here's the second page of the draw. We did see your name on the first page there, Simon. Are you really looking forward to playing in this, not just on the commentary side?
Yeah, very, very much looking forward to playing. I don't play till April, but can't wait to get out there myself. It's strange, actually, just seeing the arena there, and started to actually get nervous for my game, and I'm sort of 12 weeks away from playing it.
I dread to think what our players are thinking right now. We're looking forward to meeting them a little later. Here's what the IPA president had to say. This is Kevin Barton ahead of today's competition. Kevin, thanks for joining us ahead of the big night. How much are you looking forward to welcoming the Champions Cup on FreeSports?
Well, it's absolutely amazing to think that we've got 21 weeks live coverage on FreeSports. It's quite daunting, but we're all really excited and looking forward to it.
And we all know this game so well. How much are you looking forward to showcasing what you know so great to hopefully a bigger audience?
Well, that's right. I mean, it's these fantastic players that for so long have never been seen by the wider audience, and now those people are going to get the chance to see these great players in action, and they're in for a treat.
And in terms of the Champions Cup itself, a very unique idea for a tournament, touring around the country, showcasing the best of the local areas before a big event towards the end of the season. What's the thinking behind it?
Probably madness, to be honest, but no, it's about getting out into the clubs, where the players are, showcasing these great players to a new audience, both in the clubs and on television, and finding out who's the best player. So let's bring it on.
And in terms of what you're expecting to see over the coming weeks, obviously there's going to be a wide variety of performances and a good chance for some of the maybe the lesser known players to make their names known as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, even the lower ranked professionals are great players in their own right, and they're going to get their chance, like everybody else, to show their talents off to this new audience. So great for them.
And in terms of looking back at the World Championships, there was such a wonderful event in Bradford, so many very, very good, very close games. How proud were you looking back on that event now?
Well, I think I'm a bit too tired to be proud at the moment, but yeah, it was a great event. We were treated to some great games that helped that, but all in all, superb event, and the challenge is now to make it bigger and better next year, so that's what we're looking forward to.
And in terms of the winners as well, the female winner will be competing in the Champions Cup. How important is that everyone is showcased?
Well, absolutely. I mean, Michelle, who won, is a fantastic player in her own right, and could compete against the men. I've absolutely no doubt about that. So it's going to be great for her and great for Ladies Pool that they're going to have their world champion playing against the men as well.
And the two fellows who put on such a wonderful display in that final, Simon and Ben, still feel like we're playing that game now. It went on that long and to such a deciding extent. They're obviously going to be a part of it as well. And you feel that if games can be that close in the world stage, hopefully you're looking for the same again here?
Well, it'd be nice, and it'd be nice for the audience as well, to see the tension build up as it gets to 4-all, 5-all. So yeah, we're looking forward to some great excitement through the next 21 weeks.
And a bit of a quicker format here as well. Is the idea to make it a very consumable, very quick, fast-paced?
Yeah, it's a different tournament to the World Championships, so we've adapted the formats to suit that. So yeah, we're on the 45-second shot clock, so we're going to see some tension and drama created by that in itself, on top of having live television and the tens of thousands of viewers at home watching on FreeSports. So it's going to be great.
Well, we certainly agree. We can't wait to watch it. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Yeah, that's Kevin Barton, the IPA chairman. He's absolutely buzzing for this competition to begin. And what a special moment for Mark Farnsworth. He is in our opening game. Jordan Cunningham, his opponent, and it seems fitting, really, for Mark here. This is his club. What a moment for him.
Yeah, his club. He's the number one. He's going to lead us off. He's a fantastic player, and yeah, he must be very proud to have us here.
So here we go with the lag, which is how they decide who will be breaking first. Jordan Cunningham, one of the younger players on the circuit, qualified for this event, and got the feeling he was feeling a little bit nervous ahead of this one.
Yeah, I had a quick 5-minute chat with him before this started. He did come across quite nervous. It's quite daunting playing on telly, yeah, he did seem nervous, but I'm sure once he gets going, gets a few shots away, he'll relax into the match. He'd be under pressure anyway because he's playing Mark, who's the number one, and he's the big local hero as well. So yeah, it's just an extra added pressure with the live TV.
And in terms of Mark's game, obviously world number one, didn't quite get the world championship he so desired, put out by one of the eventual finalists, Simon Ward, in the latter stages. Will that be playing on his mind, or will he be straight into this now, do you think?
I think that result will have hurt him. He played brilliantly in that match, and to be honest, he was probably a little bit unlucky not to get the job done. Simon just played some great pool when he needed to. I think he's had a couple of days to get over it. I think he'll just be looking forward to getting out there and going again.
It's a dry break from the outset then from Mark Farnsworth. And a chance then for the youngster Jordan Cunningham to get his hand down on the table here and pick his shot. And obviously we mentioned with Kevin there the difference between this format and the one we just saw on FreeSports at the World Championships. It's very quick. There's every chance that Jordan could be out of sight now.
Yeah, the shot clock's been reduced from a minute to 45 seconds. You still have one extension per frame, but it's going to be interesting to see how all the players adapt to this shot clock. On a normal tournament, we'd be playing without a shot clock unless you're in the final. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how those players adapt, including Jordan. He hasn't been handed a very easy opening to start with.
You can say that again. One of the things with Mark's players, his break is quite well known for not being his strongest point. It's when he's in and amongst the balls. It's so deadly. that could affect Jordan because this isn't an easy line.
Yeah, it's very fair to say that the Mark lost in the semi-final because his break wasn't quite strong enough. Simon played great, but he was getting more chances because of his break. With Mark, his break let him down, and he was playing so well that you felt if he was going to get the chances, then he might have taken that match deeper. So he will need his break to pick up. Jordan's going to look at taking the plant here. He's going to look at taking yellow onto yellow. He's going to want to pot it, but the problem is he's also going to have the red over the pocket, so he may elect just to get the yellow over the corner pocket.
And 8-ball rules do dictate that it's not the be-all and end-all having a ball over the pocket. There are skill shots in this format of the game. Slightly different, maybe what quite a few of the viewing public may be used to.
Yeah, now he's made the plant nicely. He's now got an angle where he can play the yellow he's used as a planting ball to play this off the red now. This is the key shot. The problem with this shot, he's going to play yellow off the red, but where's the red going to go? It could cannon the yellow away from the pocket as well.
Difficult cueing, it just doesn't quite drop for him.
He's decided he purposely took the pocket there. He decided it wasn't worth going for that. There's no way he tried to pot that because he wouldn't have been on the next ball.
Here's the replay of it again. With the way he was cueing, it was a difficult shot, and he tried to avoid hitting the red. I think for that reason, to avoid knocking his yellow away.
Yeah, so he's controlled it by not going for that finish. I'm a little bit surprised he didn't. I think that was a chance. He would have relied on a little bit of luck to make that happen. Now, obviously, it goes without saying that Mark's big problem is that area now. Yellow's got the pocket, and his red is in that corner.
This is the scenario that Mark really does relish. As soon as the balls are quite tightly packed together, he's an excellent snooker player as well. This is his bread and butter.
Yeah, and again, it's probably why I thought Jordan would go for the previous shot, because there's so many reds on the table, and you were allowing Mark Mark's going to take control in this safety battle. Jordan's is now behind because of it.
And total snooker call. This isn't the easiest one to get out of. It's quite a clever shot, this, from Mark. I feel like he's just putting the youngster under a little bit of pressure here, just seeing what he's made of early on.
Yeah, absolutely. The easiest ball to hit here is the yellow over the pocket, but that he does not want to hit that ball, because if he pots it, then he is a long way behind. So you can see he's coming. He tried to hit the yellow in open play to avoid that, but giving the foul away, this is a great chance for Mark now to win this frame.
Yeah, so a shot and a visit for Mark Farnsworth. Two shots don't carry in this form of the game, but a chance with his opening shot to essentially do what he likes, and you'd imagine that pocket is all of a sudden going to become a little bit clearer for him. Yeah,
you'll see this first shot should open everything up. It's not come out ideally for him. I just wonder whether the red, one of the reds he's nearest to, just slides into the bottom red past his other two reds. If it does, then it's no problem. If it doesn't, then he's not really got an open pot on. Yeah, not the easiest lie for Mark here. Yeah, just if this red goes in there, then this is okay. And it doesn't quite drop, and see there almost the disgust from Mark as he took a look at that. Yeah, he would have been really disappointed with the way his first shot came out. He didn't want to be playing anything as awkward as this. He'll still be very surprised to miss that. Not an easy recovery shot for Jordan here, but that is beautifully taken. Good opportunity for the first frame here then for Jordan Cunningham from here. Yeah, great shot from Jordan. You sort of feel it's much more important for Jordan being the qualifier against the number one to get the first frame and to get going. That's a great shot. Much better shot than that look. That's fantastic. Yeah, really got into it. And white ball perfect for a simple shot on the black. And you just see a little tap of his chair from Mark Farnsworth. He appreciated that. He'll be well aware of the talent in this region, and it's a tough one for him to take on his break as well. Yeah, if Jordan had cleared up without Mark getting a go, it would be fine. He'd be sat in his chair without really thinking about it. But the fact that he had an opportunity there, he got the foul from Jordan and he had the opportunity, he'll be very disappointed not to win that frame.
Now the break's so important in 8-ball. How's Jordan Cunningham? We're about to find out.
Second frame, Jordan Cunningham to break, leading 1 frame to 0. Time running.
Interesting, we're using the cut break. Yeah, that looks all right. Quite a few balls down, and he's got a good chance here.
Yeah, this is pretty much as good as you could hope for off the break. There are no obstacles, no problem balls. These reds are just sitting there. This is as comfortable and controllable as a finish as you could hope for. Be very, very surprised if Jordan doesn't take these out.
Now, if Jordan was back in his home club in Newcastle, you just get the sense that we could be here for 10 seconds and it'll be all over. We'll be setting up for frame 3. Even though it is a slightly quicker format, it'll just take a little bit of time to make sure.
Yeah, he doesn't have, I mean, he's got options to go a few different ways. He doesn't have to worry about anything here. Just has to have a clear mind. He won't have to play a difficult pot, just needs to control the white nicely and should work his way through this.
It's quite impressive for the young man not to be showing any fear here. I'm not sure that's the best positional shot he's ever played, though. I think he's aware of that.
Yeah, the problem he's got here is that the only ball he can pot into this corner is going to send the white away up the table, and it's probably a little bit thinner than that actually. The white is going to come this way, and you can see how he'll be going away from the other red, so he's going to be leaving a lot more angle on the other red than he really wants to.
And of course the pot isn't guaranteed either. The pot is far trickier than you would have liked.
Yeah, it's a tough pot as well. He'll do very well to hold this white on and have any shot on the next red.
You hear the beat of the shot clock. He's got it.
Oh, he's going
to let that distract him, and he's played it far too thin. That's something these players won't be used to. They're used to shot clocks, but the beeping is certainly something that just adds to the tension a touch. And Jordan there with a wry smile to himself. It really wasn't an easy pot, and perhaps a little bit lucky not to go in off the black there. And Mark is away, and this is where he's at his deadliest. Good opportunity for Farnsworth here to get his first frame on the board. It's very rare that Farnsworth wastes an opportunity when presented like this. He is ruthless in that sense. His cue ball control is really second to none in the sport. It's what sets him apart. As mentioned, break might not be the strongest, but in many tournaments it really doesn't matter for him. Just plays it pocket weight and it drops. From this point onwards, you'd expect Mark Farnsworth to take these 3 remaining balls out. Indeed, he will. This will be 1-1 on the scoreboard. Tidily done from Mark Farnsworth. And he'll be pleased with that. It's almost a strike back in that sense from very similar what happened in the first frame.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a really, really good chance for Jordan, and he will know that. Be very frustrated because a chance, and you're only playing a race to 6, and a chance to go 2-0 up at the start of the match. Be very disappointed with his cue ball control, let him down. Did miss a tough pot following that, but it was down to the cue ball control.
Yeah, really nicely done that from Mark.
Yeah, you sort of touched on it at the start. Mark's cue ball control and ability around the table. If you give him good opportunities like that, where he just has to work his way through the visit, you are going to end up losing because he does not make mistakes from those situations.
Now he has got a very smooth cue style. See there, the break sometimes lets him down. That time he gets a ball in off, but you can see there by the grimace on his face, he's not a fan of that break, and he just knows he's going to have to work pretty hard on this one.
Yeah, that pack didn't open up at all, did it? He got very little movement on the balls. Yes, he made a ball, but this is, you know, a really messy split, and he's going to take a bit of working out for him.
I won't be too bothered by that. That gives him a little bit more scope to work things out here, potting both balls.
Yeah, and it gives him the option to continue. He was playing reds, obviously. He makes a red and then flukes the yellow. That, because it was the first shot of the frame, he's now got an option to go yellows if he'd like to. So colours are not assigned at the moment.
He's chosen reds. That's the option he's gone for.
Yeah, the problem with this red now is he's a little bit thin on it, and he's going to be going close to those yellows on the right hand side.
And he's missed the pot, which is very rare.
It's very rare, and that's the reason he missed that was probably because he was worried about what was going to happen with the white. He'd lost control on the he knew he was losing control on the white. So
And in terms of these yellows now, it was a very messy start to the frame, but all of a sudden they really do look like they've opened up for Jordan here. Missed it thin, which is perhaps an indication he maybe couldn't see the potting angle as well.
yeah, he probably did, but it's yeah, I think it's just a surprising miss. Anytime Mark misses, you're really surprised. So it's just the yellow on the left hand side that Jordan needs to be careful with. If he gets behind that yellow on the left hand side, then he can cue that in down the rail nicely.
I feel this is the key positional shot.
Played very, very well. That's as nice as you'd like it. It's just bumped off the cushion just a couple of inches, which means you can just control this in, and the white's going to come on and off the cushion. Perfect.
He's playing some nice stuff as the youngster here. Natural angle down for the black. Very, very simple. He's making this look. And I think the key thing for Jordan here is, whilst Mark has made a couple of mistakes, Jordan is very much punishing those mistakes, which you might not expect from someone so young, but he's really made him pay. A couple of really nice cleanups.
Yeah, that's very very well done from Jordan. There was that ball down the rail was one that impressed me. I just thought the way the mistake he made in the previous frame, I felt like there was pressure on that one down the rail, but he really did well to get that in. Just seeing the referee having a quick word with both players. The surprising thing for me so far in this match is the two missed pots from Mark. We saw in his match against Simon Ward in the quarterfinals last week of the World Championships, he missed two balls in the whole match, and it was a very, very long match. He's missed two balls already in this match in 3 frames.
Yeah, quite remarkable. He's such a wonderful player when he's in and around a packed scenario with the balls. He's a wonderful Q Sports player. Comes from a bit of a snooker background, which is far more fiddly in that sense with the way that game's played. Does have a 147 break to his name as well. He's got that ability of close-knit situations.
Yeah, absolutely. His cue ball control is what makes him the number one. He just keeps such good control of the white. He's always, you watch him play and you think he hasn't had to play any tough shots, and that's because he controls the white so nicely.
It was a nice break eventually for Jordan there. He had to wait his time for a little bit, but eventually, just in the bottom right as we look at it, just sunk.
Yeah, all the reds are in the open. It's just that black there. That's going to be his problem. I fully expect him to get to the black, but he's left such a nice angle now on this red to the bottom left. I expect him to stun up into the black.
He's immediately looked to play it. Doesn't want it to move too much further.
Yeah, he's got a little bit lucky there. He probably hit that a bit firmer than he really needed to. He was always going to send that black up towards that corner where the yellow was blocking the pocket, but it's gone past it, so the black now goes quite comfortably, and this is very, very good chance. Similar to his first break where he just ran out of position and missed a tricky pot.
Yeah, it is a race to 6. Oh, that's an unfortunate miss for Jordan. Just when it looked as if the frame was opening up for him. It's a miss that he will be kicking himself about. He's played it dead weight, fairly simple, white ball. And this is where Mark will look to punish him. Not on that occasion though. I saw Mark practicing earlier, and he practiced that shot about 10 times in succession. Just line the ball up, pretty straight, long pot. Guess how many he missed?
None.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm really, really surprised. I'm really surprised with the misses we've seen so far from Mark.
Jordan's a little unlucky with that red. He would have ideally liked to carry the yellow and just hold over that pocket.
Yeah, he's just had a quick look to see if it still goes. If it still goes, then he's okay. If it doesn't, he needs a bit more work.
I think it'll go to the top left corner, so he might just drop off the middle here and try and play behind it.
Yeah, he's going to play for it into the top left. He needs to get the white up. He's probably going to get it up a couple of inches short of the bulk line, but even if he gets it to there, the position onto the black is going to be tricky. He's either going to have to swing around 2 cushions, avoid the yellow and get onto the black, or play it with an awful lot of left hand side to get onto the black, to get on the black well. Very awkward for him to get far enough up to that red. Just a bit more of an acute angle than I thought it was. So this is a very tough shot.
You can see they're playing it with quite a bit of left hand side. And again, similar to the shot he had in the first frame, just overcuts it. And that's very easily done when you're trying to play it with a lot of sides.
Yeah, tough shot. And that was down to the first shot he played when he cannoned this red into an awkward position. The first shot goes better, he doesn't have to play that tricky shot.
You see, he got a good white ball.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the side on the ball that would have caused him to miss the pot by so far.
So there plays the snooker. And that looks like a total snooker.
Yeah, we just heard the referee in the background there, just announcing it.
Looks like a 2-cushion escape hit. And he's not there.
1 free shot, 1 visit.
Well, how we call 1 shot, 1 visit.
He missed that by quite a long way, and that's probably because this is an absolutely brand new table, brand new cloth and brand new cushions with brand new balls, and the table's just sliding a bit more than he expected. He didn't get to have a warm-up on this table, and it slid off the first cushion a lot wider than he thought it was going to, so it made him look a little bit worse than it actually was.
Yeah, this table's pretty much been dropped in brand new.
Yes, absolutely brand new.
10 seconds.
Just hear the 10-second beat start there.
Yeah, so Mark had a similar situation in the first frame and didn't take advantage, which is so rare for Mark. You get the sense, although he's won a frame, he hasn't really settled. 3 pots already missed.
You see there, first to 6 frames is such a short format that if you don't start well, you can easily get left behind.
Yeah, just wondering whether either of these 2 yellows go into the right centre. If not, he's probably going to have to play them up into the top pocket. Yeah, he's taking one of these up to the top left. He wants to clear these 2 before he goes up the table.
He really has bulleted that in perfect white ball as well.
Yeah, that's a really nice shot. He looks like he's fairly straight on this, and he'll just want to screw back to roughly the bulk line. If he's straight in on, he'll straight in on the yellow to the top right, he'll be absolutely happy. But at any angle on that, he can bump out for the yellow to the top left, and that's the one that will get him onto the black.
should be a fairly straightforward finish this hit. He wants to hit the players too high because he wants to leave the angle, which he just about has, I think.
Yeah, you saw the tracer right-hand side on that. He played that with check side, just to control the white, kills the white, pace of the white a little bit off the cushion.
And there you see the angle. This now is a routine shot for Mark Farnsworth. Just place it into the corner pocket. That squares things up to a piece. It's been a pretty close game so far, and whilst we might not have expected to a piece, there we go. This is Mark's recent tournament history. He's had some good results. He'd have been disappointed. I know he's disappointed, having spoken to him about the quarter-final, the loss against Simon Ward. It's a far closer game than 3-1 indicates. A lot of 4-3 frames.
Yeah.
Those games can go either way. But he's been in excellent form. Last year in May, won the English Professional Final. And this is the reason why he's number one. Semi-finals, quarter-finals. There's so many tournaments he's going very deep in. Consistency.
It's just there and thereabouts every single tournament. You just expect him to be in the quarterfinals of every event you play. Trust me, that quarter-final last week, so only 3 days ago against Simon will have really hurt, because he played absolutely fantastically in that match, and that 3 sets to
didn't do a lot wrong.
That 3 sets to 1 scoreline just doesn't do him justice. Because for me, and I don't mean to discredit Simon, I felt like Mark played better, but Simon was just getting more chances. And don't get me wrong, Simon played some fantastic pool as well, but the form that Mark showed in that match, I can't believe he lost it.
Was a terrific match. If you happen to catch any of the World Championships on FreeSports, you really were in for a treat last week. There were some fantastic games. Mark with a good break there. He'll be pleased with that. Compared to his last one, absolute chalk and cheese.
There's a really good chance. That's a much better break from Mark. He really opened the balls up much better. He's just...
Is he on that red to the bottom there?
He's just coming into that yellow because he wanted to open the black up, because it would have been awkward to get on, but he may not be on this red.
And there you can see it. I don't think you can see that. You see there, so it doesn't quite go. Might be even trying to swerve around this.
No, he can't see it enough. He's got... This is tough for him. Obviously, it was a very, very easy hit for him, but he wanted to be almost touching that ball to stop Jordan from having a chance. That's really, really unlucky for Mark.
It's such a precise sport, but sometimes there are the elements of luck. You can't control completely cannons, you can't control completely the break, and that's what keeps every single frame different.
Yeah, that's why when you look at a table after a break, or when you come to table for a clearance, you're looking for your problems. You're looking, are things open? If you don't have to, you don't want to cannon into any balls. You just want to be able to play position onto them. That time, the black would have been very awkward to get on because the yellow was so close to it that he was absolutely right to play into that ball, and very, very unlucky not to have a shot, because the odds of him not having a shot after that, the pace he played into that was so slim.
And the ball's now presented pretty nicely for Jordan Cunningham to steal another one on Mark Farnsworth here. Highly possible. Presented itself quite nicely, the young man. Slightly awkward queuing for this one. Plays it really well.
Yeah, that was a great shot, and probably the key to the frame here for Jordan. I always think the most important thing when your opponent gets a piece of bad luck like that, or presents you with an opportunity when they've had a great chance themselves, for whether it's a bad mistake or a bad bit of luck, is that you really need to punish it.
It should be straightforward from here. There you see the yellow just passing the reds, and it's a routine positional shot.
Yeah, he's just overstunned that a little bit. Wanted to be a little bit straighter in on this next shot, but he's fine. Just needs to watch. Doesn't have to do anything with the white. Just make sure the pot and black's hanging for him.
This for 3-2 then. And it is good. It's been an impressive start from the youngster. Jordan Cunningham leads the world number one by 3 frames to 2 the first game of the Champions Cup.
Yeah, that was really impressive from Jordan. He's made a couple of mistakes himself, but when you get presented like an opportunity like that against Mark, you need to take it.
And we'll be seeing if he can hold on after the break. Welcome back live on FreeSports to the Champions Cup. Mark Farnsworth, world number one, taking on local qualifier Jordan Cunningham. And it's the youngster who is up and away. He leads by 3 frames to 2. And Mark has had 3 breaks. It's been an unlikely start, Simon.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark really hasn't settled into this match. He's won a couple of frames, but the 3 missed pots from Mark really stands out. Jordan's missed 3 pots as well, but a couple of those pots were really tricky. And he's under pressure, but Mark, you just don't expect the misses he's had.
Yeah, perhaps more forgivable as well for Jordan Cunningham in this,
3 frames to 2.
This scale of event, live on TV in the Champions Cup. It would be easily forgivable for such a youngster to get a wee bit nervous and just see the ball there spinning like a top. Got some serious airtime. I think nearly took out our camera.
Yeah, very, very bizarre break. White almost landed on top of the balls. Oh, it did on the black. But he has made a ball. Yeah, obviously the problem area for Jordan will be the balls that have come together on the side rail. He's just got some problems here. They're the worst ones for him. But he's electing reds. He doesn't have a yellow to go at. And I think in an ideal world you'd rather go yellows there because you've got the yellow over the top left pocket. So even if you can't develop the yellow on the right hand side, you've got control of the frame.
It's not the easiest skill shot either, with it not sitting totally over the pocket. I think he's just tried to play it there. Does it drop? He's really unlucky.
He is, but he's been unlucky not to make the yellow, but he's come out okay. He's been left with a shot now. He's got the red he's nearest to along the top rail. If this goes in, then the reds at the top are all fine because they can all go to the other top corner pocket. He's just missed it.
So he's very unfortunate there. If the yellow had gone in, it was an absolutely brilliant shot. Would have been a skill shot. Remember, they can pot balls of any colour as long as their own goes in, bar the black, of course. Although if
no, you can.
If it is the last colour.
Yeah, if it's your last ball and the black, you absolutely can. Just need so close to making this. So the problem for Mark will be the red and yellow on the right hand side that I touched on at the start of the frame. He's going to try and open those up here.
Played up pretty nicely. Always had the insurance policy in the top left as well, knowing he's pretty much guaranteed a shot. Even if you can't see it directly, you can probably play that yellow in the middle off it.
Yeah, he's okay here. He was always going to have that one over the pocket, as you say, but he would like to be able to see it direct, I believe, but the problem is he's off the rail, so controlling the white is tricky as well. It's a tougher shot than it looks here. Oh, that's brilliant. That really is brilliant. He's lovely here because he just needs to get the white, top side onto this last yellow. So he would ideally like to be somewhere here for the yellow over the top middle as we look now, after taking the yellow to the bottom middle, so that he can run down to the bottom end of the table. He might be a fraction straight. Yeah, the reason he's gone down the table is he just had the wrong angle to come straight back for that yellow. So he'll save it for his last ball now.
Difficult shot to get above that red. I think he's played it really well. He has.
Yeah, that was another one that's a lot better than it looked. Any cannon on that red and it could have gone wrong for him.
Terrific stuff from Mark Farnsworth. Simple shot for black. And he does it beautifully, 3 apiece. And it's been interesting, actually. Both these players have missed quite a few shots, and there's not been many dishes.
No, I think both players have probably struggled to settle into the match. Interestingly for me there, Mark seemed to run through that finish a lot quicker than he has done so far in the match. He was using a bit more of his shot clock before. I think he's trying to speed himself up and try and find some sort of rhythm.
This is Jordan Cunningham's recent history in 2017. Plenty of amateur competitions, which he was very close in, and he's just one of the young rising stars, isn't he?
Yeah, you can see he's had some close matches there. He hasn't gone too deep in any of the recent tournaments, but he's a fantastic young player with a lot of ability, and sort of expect him to improve and start to get deeper and deeper in tournaments over the next year or two.
Mark Farnsworth to break, 3 frames all. Time running.
Well, this is an interesting point then. 3 apiece. Mark Farnsworth now would ideally not like Jordan to have a shot here.
see the break's just not Mark's strong point. Is another one where the break just doesn't ping open from it, doesn't have a big split, and he has come up dry again.
So Jordan at the table then.
Yeah, Jordan's at the table. The yellows are okay here. I think yellows are probably a better option than the reds because of the reds nearest the bottom left now. All the yellows go. Everything's got a pocket, so it's about cue ball control and just working his way through the visit. For me, I think he needs to. But he's looking at the top end of the table. I was going to say he wants to clear the bottom end of the table, then go to the top, but he might look to go clear the top end of the table and then come to the bottom.
That's an unfortunate miss. Again, wasn't the easiest shot, but one he'll be annoyed not to have made.
Yeah, just I think as the more the match is going on, I think the mistakes are sort of, the more missed pots are starting to creep in from Jordan. Maybe he's starting to, he really hasn't settled, even though he's won some frames and he's had a couple of good clearances, but he is playing, you know, the number one on live telly, and you know there are some nerves there.
Nice gentle shot from Mark, but he has nudged the black a little bit safer than he really would have liked there.
So Mark's got a couple of problems areas. He's got these two reds here, and he's got this red here. I believe the top red does part to the corner, but he certainly does not have the full pocket.
This isn't the easiest lie here for Mark Farnsworth.
Yeah, so the red I pointed out that I thought might sneak into the left-hand corner definitely goes to the right-hand corner, but he's still got the problem with the two reds. He can't move them from this shot. He hasn't got the right angle. So we may see him now take this red to the top corner and screw into the two reds. It's a tough shot.
It's interesting there with the element of the shot clock. You just see Mark play that shot or get down on that shot a little bit quicker than he maybe perhaps would have. This is not easy. Hot set. And your natural pool player tendencies there, Simon, you're tapping your knee. That's how good that was.
Yeah, that was a brilliant shot from Mark. I love the pace he's played this at. The tendency on those shots for me is I tend to overhit those shots. Mark's just played that at such a nice controllable pace. He knows he just needed to touch those two reds to open them up. In all honesty, he's actually a little bit unlucky that he finished so thin on that red because he played the shot before so well.
He's played a reasonable recovery shot. He'll be annoyed he's on the cushion. That's the thing that will annoy him the most. He'll be relieved that the next red that he'll play, the position he shouldn't have to worry about too much. It's a difficult pot though.
Yeah, he just needs to avoid the yellow that's on the cushion. It looks like he's going to go just wide of it, and he is. But he's still got work to do.
He's going to have a difficult black shot unless he plays an unbelievably good traditional shot off this red. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah, he's so thin on this. I mean, we need to see quite how thin he is, whether he can actually screw around off two cushions. No, he's probably going to be too thin for this, so he's probably going to have to leave himself a very, very tricky black.
Yeah, he just got down a couple of times, thought over it.
Okay, he may be able to spin round off two cushions, but he may decide to get in the bottom half of the table. Oh, that's brilliant. Use the yellow to stay on the black. I was just thinking he would avoid that, and then he may come down the bottom end of the table, and it would be easier to get on the double than it would to play on the one down the rail. But using that yellow is absolutely brilliant.
And he's played that completely deliberately as well.
Oh, absolutely. Still a tough black though.
And he squeezed it in. Really, really good shot that. See the crowd gathered in here. Skyland really appreciated that. Great shot this from Mark Farnsworth. Not easy, it being so tight to the rail. He had to play it with a little bit of pace. He couldn't really afford to play it dead weight.
Yeah, that's much more like the Mark Farnsworth that we've seen for the last couple of years on the tour. Absolutely brilliant last four balls.
Well, this is World Championship run that we saw on FreeSports. We saw him beat Gary Clark 3-0 in the early rounds, and he was superb against Brian Halcrow as well. 3-1, as we mentioned, was harsh against Simon Ward. And in fact, I think 2 of the 3 frames he lost went the distance, which just showed you how close that game really was. And Simon Ward, whilst going on to eventually play in the final against Ben Davies, he played very, very well, but it has to be said, Mark Farnsworth was unlucky to lose.
Yeah, I think on another day he wins that match. You know, well, any match that you played so well in it, he can count himself very unlucky not to win that match. It just shows you how well Simon must have played.
It's a good break, but there's no balls down for Jordan Cunningham. You see one of the Reds in particular flying around the table at a rate of knots. A little bit unlucky. Where are the problem areas here?
Well, he's going to take yellows. He's going to plant the first yellow onto the next, and then from there, he's really not got too many areas to really work out. The only one I'm thinking here is that he may look just to move that red there. That may be causing a problem for the yellow next to it. It may not. It depends the position he gets onto that yellow. But he doesn't really need to make any cannons or move anything. He just may look to move that red if he wants to.
Yeah, all personal preference from this point out from Mark Farnsworth. Interesting as well, this is the first time he's led in the match, which is quite incredible, really.
It is. And since the break, he has been much sharper and to me noticeably quicker, although he has taken a few more seconds on this shot. But he knew that it was the key. It's just to work out his pattern, and they're all there, so we might see him work his way through this finish now nice and quickly.
No, he's just taking a good look at that. I wonder if he isn't exactly where he wanted to be there.
Yeah, he might be forced into taking the yellow over the centre pocket now, which is quite a thin cut. Very much a missable pot. Oh, he's done well.
Really is such a good player to watch when he's at the table playing well. We didn't see really that mark in the opening 5 frames, but I think you're right. As he's come back from the break, he really has come back a totally different player. It's much more like the Mark Farnsworth we're used to seeing.
Yeah, I completely agree. I just think for me, I'm just looking at how he's going to go through this finish now. I'm interested to know when he's going to take the one over the pocket. I don't know whether he's going to want to leave that for his last ball. And the yellow at the top of the table. If it's me, I want to go up for the one at the top of the table next.
Yeah, just used almost all of the shot clock. 45 seconds to play. A real different dynamic, especially with the 10 seconds beeping at the end. You notice there it kicked in. It could have easily distracted him, but it's something you've got to be aware of.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things I'm looking forward to as we go through these weeks of group stages, is to see how the players adapt to this shot clock. It's not something that's going to be particularly natural for a lot of us. So yeah, it's definitely another element that we have to factor in as we prepare for our matches.
You've got a few weeks to prepare for yours. You're going to set some alarms on your stopwatches on your phone to give you that a little bit of reminder.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get a friend to come along with a stopwatch and just sort of do the beeps for me and just see how I get on.
And there you go, really nice done from Mark Farnsworth. Made that look very simple, which is really what he's good at doing, is making things look very, very simple.
Yeah, absolutely. You could be forgiven for watching Mark. You could watch Mark play 10 frames and him take out 10 clearances on the trot, and you can go, well, I could have done that because there wasn't a difficult pot to be made. And that's the key to Mark. His cue ball control is so good in the way he works his way around the table.
This is Jordan Cunningham's record in the doubles World Championships. Yeah, pretty good run to the semi-final.
Leading 5 frames to 3. Time running.
So Mark back to break. You see there that ball's flying everywhere. And he does get one down, but again, not the easiest lie.
No, it's not the greatest lie from, but because he can play red onto yellow, because it's an open table, he can play red onto the yellow as his first shot and then go yellows. he's going to end up with one. If he does play this on yellow first shot, then he's only really going to have one yellow that's a problem. So this is a very good chance for the match. Completely fooled me. He's going to go reds, but he'll be very, very disappointed with that. He's
overcooked it, didn't he?
Yeah, he's overcooked it. So the plan there was for him to just, if he could see enough of this red, to play this red off the yellow, and that would open up the pocket for the other red. But the other problem with that is it would send the black down the rail towards the yellow, which would tie the black up.
And essentially tried to play the same shot just without the pot.
Yeah, so he's just keeping it tight. He was very, very tight. Now Jordan, he's got a problem with a couple of balls, the black being the most obvious. He's also got these two reds here. Sorry, he's on...
Yeah, definitely on yellows.
Yeah, he's definitely on yellow. Sorry, I got confused there.
This isn't the easiest start for him now, I'll tell you what. After a couple of very difficult cuts, which he's not played particularly well, that was a very difficult shot for him, and he's played it very well.
Yeah, and he's under more pressure now because he knows any mistake now could be his last, so he really needs to find his best and get back on the front foot.
Yeah, played that really nicely. He's not got an easy route here. He could possibly be looking at the double, but he'd be very aware of the reds over that pocket. Yeah, just played a safety shot.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what he was trying to do there. That's seems a bizarre choice of shot. It's not worked out great for him. He's not got it safe. Mark's definitely got a chance here, but Mark still has a problem with the black, and the two reds at the top of the table near the middle pocket are also a slight problem. Yeah, Mark's got no intention of going for a finish here. Just wants to wait until it's a better opportunity.
Yeah, and you mentioned the skills shot element, but there is still plenty to be said for playing balls over the pockets, and you can see that that's not the easiest plant as well, which it maybe looked from our top shot.
Yeah, if he gets behind that, you would expect him to make it, but the reds, he can take the reds in an order such that those won't be the problems. It's going to be the reds over the middle and the black that he's going to be most worried about. But he's got complete control in this frame. He's got the red over the centre pocket and the red over the corner pocket. That Jordan really has nothing to go at. Jordan needs to be careful that he doesn't open up. He was looking at playing a yellow in the centre pocket, but Jordan really wants to keep this area here nice and congested. He really doesn't want to open that area up, because at the moment that area is causing Mark all the problems. And you can see he is.
Yeah, Jordan there just using his extension.
Okay, so he's managed to sneak that into that area, but for me, all that's doing is opening up the reds for Mark, because I don't see Jordan having an option to clear up here.
It'd be a hugely impressive one, put it that way.
Yeah, you can see now that even though Jordan's at the table, this red over the pocket is covering his yellows, and he's got the yellow next to the black.
Played that yellow nicely.
Now he actually landed absolutely perfectly here. He has got an opportunity to pop the yellow into the centre pocket and cannon into the black and yellow,
which could be a frame deciding moment.
Yeah, the problem with this shot is the red is still going to be over the pocket, and he's nudging his yellow or black into that area. As you see, I mean, he's got the cannon absolutely brilliantly, and he has developed the black and yellow, sorry, but the red's still over the pocket, and it's covering the black and the yellow. So, although he's hit a good shot, he's really still up against it.
I just wonder there if he, with the red over the pocket, if he was directly behind this yellow, I think he might even still be considering taking the skill shot on here.
Yeah, this is a very, very tough skill shot. Sometimes the red and if the yellow's a little bit more in the open, you feel like it's a controllable shot, but this is very tough.
Looking to pot both, and he doesn't do it. Tough shot, that.
Yeah, that's a very, very tough shot. Some skill shots you really fancy and you think, that you should make, but that was one that you were always odds against. That was very, very, very difficult shot.
Yeah, you can see there he's imparted a bit of bottom spin on the ball to try and make the object ball then have some top spin, but it's just difficult.
Yeah, just the angle the balls needed to go in at was, he had to be very, very precise, and it's a much harder shot from where he was than if it was more out in the open. But this really is a great chance for Mark. It'd be very surprising to see him not clear up from here.
Yeah, he's got a thin cut here, but he has got the safety of the Reds at the top of the table, can play that ball. Not sure if that's what he was intending to jaw it, but it's come out nicely for him.
Yeah, no, he certainly wasn't intending it to come out like that. I think I touched on it earlier on in the match. I think these cushions are just sliding a bit for the players, and that white definitely came up the table wider than he was expecting.
This, though, should be straightforward then for Mark Farnsworth, and this would be the match. Jordan might well have played his last shot, but he'll be pleased to get 3 frames on the board against the world number 1, who on home turf in every sense of the fashion is going to make his way through to the final here this evening. Nicely played from both players. Mark Farnsworth does get the win, and he was made to work for it.
Yeah, he was put under pressure from Jordan early, and I think from Jordan's side of the table he's going to be very frustrated that he didn't put him under pressure, because he had some chances to move the frame or two clear early on in the match and didn't take them.
Well, those are the final stats, and you can see there Mark Farnsworth, 2 dry breaks out of 5. He'll be pretty pleased with that. 3/2 is a positive ratio. A few more missed pots than he would have liked, but all 3 of those came in the first half. As soon as after the break, he was clinical.
Yeah, absolutely. You could see, I think he just tried to speed himself up, find some rhythm. He made a very, very smooth finish for the first frame after the break, and from there he was back to the normal Mark Farnsworth that we see week in, week out.
And we will now head to a break. Join us after the break for more Champions Cup action. Welcome back to the FreeSports Champions Cup. Here with Mark Farnsworth, winner of our semi-final. Mark, first question, how did you find that?
Enjoyed it. I thought it was a little bit scrappy early on at the beginning of the match. I thought Jordan played really well. He started off good. I missed a couple of pretty easy balls, a bit sloppy, but I enjoyed the match. Pleased to get over the line.
And obviously your first match here in your own club, was that a nice special moment for you?
It was the conditions, it's a brand new table, so there's a lot of slides, so you sort of second guessing yourself a little bit. The pockets play very generous, but the cushions make it difficult, you know, so I had a little bit of support there, so there's a bit of added pressure, but I enjoyed it.
And you're now looking forward to the final. Any preference from one of these two guys that you'd rather play?
No, not really. I've played them both loads over the years or two. I think this will be a great game. I think it'll be a close match. Couldn't really pick a winner. I'm not really bothered who I play, but I'm going to look forward to watching this game. I think it'll be close.
Well, we'll let you get off, and good luck in the final later on.
Thank you.
And now we'll take a look at how Mark secured his place in that final. A lovely moment for Mark Farnsworth then in his hometown, in his home club. And we thought here on FreeSports we'd just guide you through some of the rule changes that you might not be used to watching 8 ball. So take a look at this. This is what we're seeing in this Champions Cup.
Black ball rules, the most exciting, dynamic, innovative rules ever.
It all starts with a break, probably the most important shot in the frame. The aim. Smash the ball as hard as you can and try to pot a ball. But remember, 3 balls need to come past the centre pockets.
If you manage to pot a ball, it means you stay at the table, and the next legal ball you pot, you're on that colour. However, if you don't pot from the break, then it's time to sit down and watch your opponent.
Pot the black to win the frame. So what if you play a foul? You might not hit your ball out of a snooker, or you might send the white off the table from the break.
Your opponent can come to the table and they can either play the cue ball from where it lands or ask the referee to pick up the cue ball and play it from behind the ball line. He or she has 2 shots, but remember, not 2 shots carry.
You can play or pot any ball, including the black, but don't pot the black unless you're on it. If you pot the black out of turn, that's loss of frame. The skill shot. The rule that makes black ball rules so good. You can pot your ball and your opponent's ball and still carry on.
You can even do this.
You might think you're in control of the frame, but one shot can change everything. You can never relax.
And we see that wonderful trophy. This is our next match then to decide who plays Mark in tonight's final. Steve Thompson taking on Michael Oliver. And we spoke to both players just ahead of this match. This is what they had to say. Steve, welcome to Washington. How much are you looking forward to tonight?
Yeah, very much so, yeah. Brand new event, so it's great, yeah.
And in terms of the event itself, nice to be on your doorstep, I imagine. Takes the element of travel out.
Definitely, yeah. It's going to be a lot of travelling sometimes, so this is great that it's just 20 minutes up the road, yeah.
And in terms of your match tonight, what are you expecting?
I don't know. I just actually found out who I'm playing. I didn't look. I thought, I'll not look until I get here. But it's a short game. I know Michael well, so it really could go either way. But I'm just going to enjoy it.
And in terms of the short format, obviously 45-second shot clock, that adds a little bit of an element into it.
Yeah, I mean, normally it would be okay. Sometimes you can be in a tricky spot where you would like to have a little bit more time. So yeah, that might throw up a few, yeah.
Nice, thank you very much and good luck for tonight.
Okay, cheers, thank you.
Mark, thanks for joining us before the game. How excited are you to be here? This is your own club hosting the very first Champions. You're welcome to Washington. How much are you looking forward to tonight?
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. First time in front of the TV cameras, so yeah, exciting.
Bit of nerves as well?
I would say so, yeah. I've played in quite a few arenas over the years, a lot of money matches, etc. But yeah, first time on TV, so yeah, bit nervous, bit excited at the same time.
And it must be nice just being on your doorstep as well.
Yeah, definitely. 15 minutes up the road, that's all it is. So yeah, nice little commute.
You got a few supporters down with you as well?
I'm expecting a few to come down, yeah. I don't know on numbers as yet, but yeah, hopefully there'll be a few lads coming out to support us.
And what are you expecting from your game tonight?
Just going to hopefully enjoy it. Like obviously I know Snaky Who very well. So yeah, just try and enjoy the game and hopefully get the right result.
It's a very short format, 45-second shot clock as well. Do you think that plays into your hands?
Well, I'm quite an aggressive player, quite an attacking and quick player also. So the 45-second shot clock hopefully shouldn't bother us too much.
Well, I wish you all the very best luck tonight.
Thank you very much.
There we go, that's what our two players had to say. Stephen Jameson with you on the commentary. I'd like to say joined by IPA chairman Kev Barton, and we've just seen you take in that match from your lovely position on the front row. Kevin, how much did you enjoy it?
Oh, it was absolutely fantastic. It was a great atmosphere in there, and you could see the tension in the players. You know, Jordan was really nervous. He was wiping his hands. Mark was a little bit more calm and collected, and I think that probably showed in the end result. So, but yeah, it was great out there, and really appreciative crowd, big crowd at the end watching.
It was interesting actually. I just spoke to Mark after the game and pointed out to him that he missed more shots in the first 3 frames of this one he did in his whole 3-hour match against Simon Ward at the World Championships. He said these things happen, sometimes new table, it just happens. And both players are quick to mention actually with the brand new table. It's very quick, it's very slidey. Is that something these two will have to adapt to, or will they have noticed that from the first game?
Well, I know they were both watching because I could see them on the side taking note of everything that was going on. So they'll have seen a couple of the shots slide off the rails. I'm sure they'll adapt. They've played on plenty of new tables before, so they'll have seen that and taken that into account in the match.
So Mickey Oliver is first to break, and you could hear there in Mickey's interview, very excited for this one, and he's a little unlucky there to come up dry. I think he's just having a little conversation with the table there. I don't think he can quite understand how that happened.
Yeah, and it's a real interesting matchup this. Mickey's a pretty brisk player, and Steve Thompson is renowned as being, a steadier player, shall we say. So it's going to be interesting to see what impact the shot clock has on this match, because there's not a lot of time for thinking. So it's going to be interesting to see what impact the shot clock has.
I think Steve's very, very coyly identified his first 2 shots there, get himself on the board as reds and play a pretty straightforward snooker. But I don't think, looking at that angle, I think Mickey Oliver here has an angle to hit that yellow. He might even look to take it up to the top corner.
I think he can just see enough to pot it in the middle.
He can, good call. Steve Thompson, little slip there on the attempted snooker there.
Yeah, it was a bit of a careless safety, to be honest, but there's going to be some early nerves out there. I don't care how many times these guys have played in front of big crowds. There's nothing like playing live on TV, so we're bound to see some early nerves, and some of those little delicate shots can sometimes be as hard as a difficult pot.
So Mickey just forced into a bit of a safety here, and it's interesting, isn't it, especially with this quick format, that the players don't really have time to settle. They're not allowed really to be nervous, they just don't have the time to be. In terms of the way the table's set up here, Kev, what are you looking at?
Well, every red goes, so Steve will be looking to go for the finish. He's going to take this one to the bottom right now, this nice easy one, then the one to the... Well, he tried to develop it, which is a little bit of a surprise. But it may still go into his right-hand pocket. He may just be able to sneak that past that yellow into that pocket. So the two balls at the top, he could possibly play the plant. So yeah, we can see that goes into the corner.
Yeah, just use the whole pocket there. You'll see these players just do that quite a bit, because yes, the pockets are bigger, but it does allow, it doesn't necessarily make pots any easier when they have to use either side of the pocket to force angles.
Yeah, and he didn't quite cue that shot, I don't think, as well as he was hoping to. That's worked out pretty well. A couple of ways he could play this. I think he'll play the one right over the bag first. So I think he's going to play that one first and try and bring the white down here to then play this one into this pocket.
He's got to worry a little bit about the black ball as well here, because it's not easy. It's not ideally situated here.
What he's going to be looking for is to, when he gets onto this last red here, is to leave the white sort of somewhere here. And screw this back. Yeah, didn't quite cue that very well.
Yeah, disappointing miss for Steve Thompson there.
Yeah, so some definite signs of early nerves.
Yeah, never an easy shot down the rail there, especially when players have to play it at pace like Steve did there. He had to get back up and down the table, which wasn't easy. And Mickey Oliver here with a half-decent chance. The two yellows gathered together and the yellow on the cushion, not easy. And the yellow by the black isn't particularly difficult either. And I don't think he's played the pot there. I'm fairly sure he's played that yellow just over the pocket to make things difficult for Steve.
Yeah, but that's, again, it's a little bit careless. He's left the double here. That's what Steve's going to be looking at now. We can see that red nearest the yellow over the pocket goes past.
Yeah, you can just see that with the delicate shots especially, it is interesting, the point you made earlier, with the delicate shots, if they are maybe just having that little bit of extra adrenaline, pushing in a little bit further than they might have normally. Steve missing the double attempt there, which wasn't an easy shot. But it's one, again, he would have expected to make.
Yeah, he's just got the pace a little bit wrong there. He's just hit it too hard and it's straightened up off the cushion. So yeah, there's definitely some early tension, early nerves.
If you can't do it with one ball, do it with two. That's now very tricky for Steve Thompson.
Yep, Steve is in a pretty difficult position here, but he can manufacture some sort of shot. That's what the rules enable you to look at. So he can look at some crazy double treble into the middle, and if he cannons into the yellows and pots one, it won't be a problem, as long as he pots the red, of course. But he's going to have to take some really creative shot making here, and that's what he's tried.
Well, he's freed up the two reds and he's put the black onto the cushion, which I think is pretty safe for Steve. Not necessarily for Mickey. So if Mickey can get himself going here, those two yellows remain very potable at the top pocket. If he can develop the ones at the bottom of the table, he might be in business.
Yeah, he's got a couple of options here. He's playing the safety, which is really surprising.
Has to get this right.
But he's played it well.
And actually that was a double-edged shot really from Mickey, because not only has he left Steve snookered here, he's actually developed his own yellow. It's a very clever shot.
Yeah. So I think it shows that Mickey's thinking clearly. He's not doing anything rash, not being forced into anything whilst he's on live TV.
Yeah, it's not the most difficult snooker to get out of here for Steve. Just a simple up and down. The line he's looking at, he'll catch the ball on the 4 off the cushion. That's just about probably as good as he could have got it, but he's going to leave Mickey a chance here.
Yeah, clear-cut chance now for Mickey to take this first frame. All the balls go. So it's just a matter of composing himself, taking the balls in the right order. Easy from here. Probably take the one into middle first.
Probably actually the longest frame we've had so far. Both players have been a little unlucky in the sense that they've tried to really develop the balls in a difficult scenario. Not really had a chance to really get into a break, but this is a chance that Mickey's now got to do just that. It should be a clearance from here.
You've certainly used all of that middle bag. And he's underhit that one, so he's going to have to take this one over the hole now, this one. Slightly underhit his positional shot, so going to have to change his route. And again, he's not played a very good positional shot there.
He's actually got away with that a little bit, the way it came out off the jaw. If it had stuck in there, he was in some real trouble. I think he's actually just tried to hold the cue ball near the top of the table. Still on here for, he's just got to work a little bit harder than he perhaps would have liked.
And again, a little bit of a careless positional shot there, so maybe he's feeling the tension more than we thought.
Yeah, he potted the red there as well, which he's not going to be overly fussed about, but I'm not sure he can see it. It's a difficult shot this though, right on the cushion.
Yeah, and he's going to have to put a little bit of pace into this to make sure he gets out for his final yellow. Like that. He's played that really well.
That's about as good as he could have played it, and he'll be hoping to be reasonably straight on this, which I think he is, so he can just come back for the black. You see the screw shot played nicely.
He's got into that one again.
Again, I think just maybe there a little bit of extra adrenaline has brought that white further down the table than he maybe would have liked. The table is playing very quickly, and nevertheless it should be a reasonably straightforward shot, and it just drops. Wiped its feet a touch, but dropped it did. It's the first frame of the match for Mickey Oliver.
Yeah, it was a good blackie, to be fair. It made it look easy, but it cued it really nice, because those blacks up the rail are not as easy as they look. These
Especially
boys,
when he has to play it with screw like that.
Yeah, he's played it with a bit of extra pace to bring the white across, just in case he misses. So yeah, good shot.
Here we go with Steve Thompson's recent history. He's been fairly active on the circuit last year. Got to the last 16 of the British Open, where he was beaten by Simon Ward in a very, very close game, and he entered into the winners' qualification tournament in Bradford as well, where he's beaten by Arthur Dad. Good player though on the tour, Kev.
Yeah, very solid player. Very difficult to beat. He's
he's unlucky there, gone in off the break, which is the worst possible outcome.
Especially in a race to 6, that's what you don't want to be doing. But a little bit unlucky. The whites had a little bit of a help from 2 yellows. So, but
there's just nothing you can do there, is there? That is complete luck of the draw.
That's pool. That is pool. That's why it can drive you mad sometimes. And when it's all going your way, it's the best game in the world.
Sometimes when if you play a break and you screw straight into the pocket, you know, that is the player's fault, you know, to a degree, but that is complete run of the ball. There's nothing a player can do to control that. It's just simply bad luck. Now for Mickey Oliver here, table set seemingly pretty nice. What's he looking at? He's only got a certain amount of time to play the shot. He's actually used his extension there.
He's going to be looking at reds for certain, and it just depends. You know, everyone's got a different way that they want to take out a finish. So one thing's for certain, he's definitely going to take reds, and that's come out really well. So he's just going to manoeuvre the white ball around the table. Probably will leave the red bottom left-hand corner to last for position on the black. Well, if he takes yellows, I'm really surprised at that.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? You called it straight from the off that reds were pretty much a guarantee. He's opted for yellows. He's just played himself into difficulty there. Pot was made. I think he's okay. Yeah, a bit closer to that yellow than he maybe would have liked, but still goes. You see here the shot. Getting harder, and he was in a little bit of bother there. So of course the problem ball for Mickey here is the one to the top left of the table here. That's not an easy one to get.
Yeah, and that's why I was surprised he took yellows, because all the reds go. But that's the beauty of the game. Everyone sees it differently. So he's tried to move it.
It's a really good shot.
It's just not quite. He'd like to have hit lower down on the yellow to push it closer towards the pocket. Almost was a great shot, just not quite.
Yeah, a little part of them will be pleased to have made the connection, to have got it out from where it was, but these players always want perfection in their shots. You can see there the grimace. The next pot isn't the easiest, and he's not perfectly over the pocket, constantly chasing the perfect shot.
Where's that white going? Well, he's a bit all over the shop, to be fair, but he's still continuing to pot them.
Yeah, he's played some really nice pots. That's one thing we can say. It's been entertaining so far from Mickey. It sometimes is more entertaining when they maybe don't have a grip on the white ball as they maybe want to.
So I think he's going to pot this one next on the right hand side into this bottom right hand corner pocket. Probably just screw back for the one into the middle. Again, he can play it either way. And he's definitely going to go for the one in the top left now.
Yeah, just wants to be high on the yellow to the middle, just so he can leave an angle to get down to the black. Just going to go white ball hit.
He's overdone it again, but he's okay. He's got a lot of table to get into. He wants to get the white probably into anywhere here, or if the black goes in that right corner, anywhere here. So he's got options what he can do. It's gone straight up and down, so that black must go into that right hand corner. That looks mighty tight.
And it is. Ooh, you can see there, he's going to have to cue this perfectly. No margin for error. This is for 2-0. Has to get it right.
That looks tough. That's top side. Yeah.
He's slightly overdone it. Well, an opening for Steve Thompson here. We mentioned how the reds look nice at the start of the frame. They still look all right.
Yeah, it's really surprising from Mickey, because that black went easily into the left-hand corner pocket, and he could have played positional shot quite easily onto that. So I'm really surprised at his shot selection there.
So you can see there, that's where the black was before the start of that last shot from Mickey. Easily went to the left-hand side, as we saw. It's a good shot from Steve. Going to be able to clear this pocket now.
So I think he's going to pop the red into there, into the top pocket. He's going to bring the white across the table. Obviously that red's going to go into there, and the white's going to come across here and sort of somewhere around here. Oh, he didn't get into that at all.
Yeah, just having a little wipe of the table.
I'm not sure what happened on that shot.
Yeah, he really didn't play it particularly well.
Oh, he chipped the white.
Yeah, he really got to the bottom of that ball. I think that's safe to say. He tried to play it with a lot of screw and just got right underneath it. He could have elected to carry on playing there. I'm not sure if that's not a little bit loose. Mickey Oliver here is taking a look at this. I think he might be able to pot it.
What Steve was trying to do, he was trying to... Now, he could double kiss this in. This could be a real crowd pleaser. He could play the white off the rail. He wants to hit the black full in the face like that, and he could double kiss the black into the centre bag. That is the shot he should be looking at.
Yeah, I thought
it almost looks impossible.
Here come the beeps. Oh, he didn't quite get it. He's unlucky. Was a tough shot.
Yeah, he needed to play it a little bit slower, but yeah, it was close. That would have been a real...
yeah, a little bit slower, and the white just maybe would have come a little bit further away from the black, allowed maybe that double kiss.
Just didn't quite hit the black at the right angle.
That's another tight one. He might just be able to squeeze that into the left half of the pocket. He can.
Yeah, used all of the bag.
And this now looks very open now for Steve Thompson. Just saw the time there at the bottom, 18 minutes for the first. Well, this now looks like the first 2 frames for Steve Thompson. This should be routine from here, but both these players, it's similar to the last match, we must say, where Mark Farnsworth himself, a very experienced player, and Jordan Cunningham, they're just taking the time to get into this and get used to it.
This is totally foreign to these players, and you know, they're experienced, but they're not used to playing on live television, and you know, it makes a massive difference. So it's going to take them a while to settle down. I've absolutely no doubt about that.
It's a good clearance from Steve Thompson in the end. This is Mickey Oliver's recent tournament history. A couple of decent goes in the UK Open as well. Mostly round 1 appearances, maybe not a vintage year for Mickey.
No, but he's had some tough matches there. You know, Ronan McCarthy, Jordan Shepherd, Jack Whelan. You know, he's not had some very kind draws, it has to be said. You know, Michael Rhodes, one of the top amateurs last year, Jason Remington, top professional. You know, so yeah, he's had some tough matches there.
He has indeed, yeah. And I think it just shows the strength of the sport as well. It's very, very competitive. You know, the top 32 seeds are where they are for a reason, but on any given day they can all beat each other, and it would not be a surprise.
Absolutely, and especially in a race to 6. I mean, this is a sprint, you know, for these guys. So, you know, one mistake here or there, and you know, the match could be over.
Let's look at the break again, and that somehow has ended right.
And that's his second dry break on the spin.
Not the second one where I'll be looking at and wondering just how.
Not what you want when you're on live television, but
so 2 dry breaks and 1 in off. It's not been a vintage breaking start from these two. One of course, I mean, huge elements of bad luck to all 3 of those, of course.
Extension call there for Steve. I think he's going to be looking at yellows here. He's got obviously one to look at up here in this area there, but you know, he's got this ball here that he can think about doing something with it to move it and develop it.
And there's the choice then for Steve Thompson.
It's all about getting the right angle on that yellow that's on the baulk line, so he can disturb that yellow that's tied up. These 4 balls at the bottom end of the table. I mean, he could choose to move it now from this one into the centre if he thinks he's got the right angle. And that's what he's done. Yeah, the problem with that shot is you can't generate enough pace to really disturb those balls. So he was always really wanting a lot of luck on that shot.
And yeah, you can just see there that's not the exact scenario Steve Thompson would have wanted. He is a little unlucky, but a double kiss is always what players want to avoid. But he's played the safety, and maybe a touch surprised at that one as well, because he's kept that yellow very safe now.
Yeah, he's played a bit of a nothing shot there, I'd call it. You know, he's hit his yellow, but he's not developed it. So yeah, I think that's the pressure of the shot clock as well. You know, it's going to have an impact on shot selections. You don't have that time to, you know, think about all the options. It's more or less just the first thing that comes into your head.
That's a terrific shot from Mickey Oliver to get the pot. He's a little unlucky, the white stick stuck a little bit to the red there. I think he should be okay to continue the break. Terrific pot into the top corner. Has come out with a couple of crackers.
Yeah, might be able to take this red off the yellow. That's what he's looking at.
Able to jack up and really dig deep onto that one. He hasn't played it off the yellow. It's not quite going to make it. I don't think he'll mind too much with that. He's taken the pocket, and it's a difficult shot.
Yeah, just overcut it. But, he's taking control of the bag, but you know, as we know in black ball rules, that doesn't really guarantee you a right lot.
Steve does have options there as well.
Yeah, he's going to be playing a containing safety, just keeping this white bottom end of the table. Again, he could have just done a little bit more with that one.
I wonder if Mickey's got the option here to play the red near the rail on the left-hand side, up into the top corner. I think that's what he's just looking at.
Yes, definitely. Steve wanted that white to bounce off the bottom cushion to get behind that yellow to snooker Mickey, but he was a little bit short.
He played that really well. Lovely shot from Mickey Oliver. And these reds now are looking pretty inviting here for Mickey.
Again, he's just a little bit underscrewed that one. Would have liked another 6 to 8 inches.
If that red goes at the bottom of the table, he's really got a good chance here, but that...
Yeah, and he's missed the pot. He left himself a little bit too thin, and it's caused himself to miss that pot. It was a thin slice, that one.
Yeah, hit it thick, didn't he?
Yeah.
Bounced off the cushion. Yeah, difficult shot that. But Steve hasn't got anything easy. Still going to have to work pretty hard from here. And he doesn't make that one. That was definitely a pot attempt. But he's got the happy accident of taking the pocket.
Yeah, these guys are really feeling the pressure at the moment. You know, Steve would never normally miss a pot like that, and just overcut it.
And that's the thing, isn't it? When they are feeling a little bit of pressure and a little bit of nerves. The one thing that settles the nerves is a couple of good pots and feeling confident and getting into the game. And neither of these two have really had the chance to do it. I think that's what we're seeing so far. 3 very scrappy frames from these two.
Yeah, it's a battle of survival at the moment. Who can weather the storm?
Mickey just using his extension there.
And the thing is, they'll be so desperate to do well. They've got friends, they've got supporters who will all be tuning in, watching in the arena, both and on FreeSports, and you know, they're so desperate to do well that it could obviously have an impact on their performance. But
yeah, they were all speaking before the game about how nice it was to not have to travel very far and to get people in to watch, but that does add its own kind of pressure, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And again, it's all foreign, it's all new. So you know, it's going to take a little bit of time to adapt for some people. It's a big deal. Live TV, it's
you can see there the match length just ticking to a 27-minute mark, which for, let me put this at 2.5 frames, is pretty extreme. But if we take a look here at the table, Kev, what are we looking at?
Well, I think he's looking at the red on the right hand, this top one here, and doubling it back over here. He's just missed it, but that's what he was looking at.
Yeah, he's a touch unlucky. That was a difficult shot. And again, look how close he was, fractions. Both these players will be thinking, what I'd give for a nice easy clearance now, just to dust away the cobwebs, get themselves going in this game. And when it's first to 6, you're expecting the game to be fast paced, and this one has been the opposite of that. That's a very clever shot though. If it goes, it does. It's good. And Steve Thompson, very nicely played. Lovely up and down.
Yeah, they'd preferred to have taken the yellow off the red to move the red out of the way, but pretty straight in. But he's still got a chance to get position, possibly on.
And you can see there the yellow doesn't quite pass the red, which is exactly what he'd been tried to have disturbed.
So he was looking to get onto this yellow and take it into this pocket off the red, but he's not played the positional shot very well. So he hasn't got that option now, and what he's going to do, unless he pulls out a big shot, he's going to hand the table over to Mickey Oliver, who's got 4 reds just dying to be potted.
Yeah, Mickey here is now looking for this one to be missed, because then it would be the chance to come to the table for a pretty easy clearance. He's trying just to stop him from doing that. So that red now becomes a little bit of an issue for Mickey, but realistically this should be pretty straightforward.
Yeah, he needs to forget about the situation he's in. He needs to forget about the cameras. He just needs to do what he does best: get down, put these 4 reds and the black, get a frame on the board.
You can see him there just psyching himself up as he got out of the chair. He knew this was his opportunity. He's got really into that, which is perfect, because he can now just play off the red into the bottom corner, which is his problem ball. He looks pretty straight on it as well, which will enable him to screw back.
Cued it well. Would like it to run on a little bit more. Just he's sort of betwixt and between. He's not perfect on either.
Yeah, he will have to make a good pot here. But if he pots this and gets a good white, it should be frame over. Made it pocket weight. He's played it perfectly. And the cue ball just got away from the black at the last minute. It now should be 2-1 to Mickey Oliver here. That's the nice clearance he was looking for. That'll give him a bit of confidence. And then from Bertley, he's done well. A little shake of his head as well. You know, he didn't make that as easy as he maybe would have liked. Here we take a look at Steve Thompson's recent performance in the World Championships. He did get to the quarter-final before eventually being eliminated by actual finalist Simon Ward. Did get a great win in particular over in the last 16. You can see there, that beautiful trophy, Champions Cup. The fact that it's there at every single event, that's the motivation for the players right at the start, isn't it? They see that and they know what's on offer.
It's like a glass FA Cup.
Was that the design idea, was it?
It's all in the planning. But yeah, beautiful trophy, and some of the guys have been looking at it and imagining what that would look like on their mantelpiece at home.
Well, I feel like Steve Thompson's taken the frustration of the first 3 frames out on that break. He's really got into that and split them really nicely.
So like you said, he's going to want a nice easy breaking dish just to get settled.
And I think he should be good for one of the any problem areas now he's allotted for the Reds.
Absolutely none.
No pressure, Steve.
The only problem will be the pressure and how he handles that. I think his BPMs will just be gone up a little notch now that he knows he's got a great chance to get a frame on the board, another frame on the board.
Just give his time. The beeps will start to sound in a second. He knows he's got to hurry.
Yeah, just got down and knocked that one in. Didn't have too much time to think about it.
He played that with the sort of air of man snoozing his alarm clock, didn't he? just sort of slapped it in. He knew it was going to go, didn't have to worry too much about the pot. Just almost played that almost to shut the beeps up. You got the sense of he's not a man to be hurried, Steve Thompson.
No, once those beeps start, anything can happen.
Just taking a look at this.
Yeah, he took the opportunity there just to try and develop the black, and if he can't see that one into the middle bag, that's going to cause him a problem, but it looks like he can just squeeze through. No, he couldn't. He's had to take it into the top rail.
That then became a very difficult shot. So Mickey Robert back at the table.
See, he took the chance to move the black, but there's always a risk in that. And you know, he sacrificed. He could have had perfect position onto that one. So, but he thought he'd try and move the black, and he'd still be on it. But yeah, I think one of the very, very top players probably wouldn't have tried to move that. They don't like to move balls if they don't need to. So
now all of a sudden, the quality of the break from Steve Thompson almost comes back to bite him here, because Mickey's in a good position.
Yeah, he's developed the black nicely for Mickey, so he's done the work for him. So it's always a difficult decision that sometimes, because you see the opportunity where you can put a ball and develop the black and you think it'll be all okay, and then it's not, and you regret the decision then.
It's not the easiest for Mickey though, it's worth pointing out. The two reds over the top pockets may well cause him some issues.
Yeah, he's got some work to do, and Steve's got both those top two pockets pretty well guarded. So Mickey's going to have to look at his options here. What he could be doing is putting this one into that pocket, then this one possibly in off that red, to move the red so that the other balls go. Oh, it's just that he's completely come across that shot when he cued it. That's.
I mean, shots like that are tough enough, but he's really played that with an awful lot of pace.
Yeah,
He made it much more difficult.
He's just not hit the white where he was queuing up. He's queued right across it, and yeah, not one of his finest efforts.
Steve Thompson with a second chance at this. So look at the way he got there, and you just see there the cue action left to right as we see it on screen. Didn't cue it straight, and ultimately that's what made him miss the shot.
It's okay, Mickey, there's only tens of thousands watching, so don't worry about it.
Sure, he'll forgive you for that comment. So it's looking pretty good then for Steve Thompson. This is a pretty easy pot. He wants a good white ball. This black isn't the easiest if he gets a bad one.
Anywhere at the bottom end of the table, and he should be on the black, unless that yellow gets in the way.
Oh, would you believe it? Would you believe it?
That is incredible. He's going to be feeling absolutely as if the world is against him after that.
Well, it's just how this game feels like it's gone for Steve Thompson, isn't it? He's finding it difficult, and you know, sometimes when the balls are going against you, there really is nothing you can do. To snooker himself on the black after looking like the frame was his to win, and of course with this shot clock, he hasn't got an awful lot of time to process this.
No, and he's going to try and knock it in the middle. The cushion just slid a little bit there, and
that is the air of a man who's not happy, and you can sympathise, can't you? There wasn't a huge amount wrong with the shot. It's just those margins, isn't it? That yellow slows, if it speeds up, just doesn't want to be in the way of the black. That's all he's asking. A couple of inches.
Yeah, it was cruel look. I mean, he cued the pot really well, and you know, anywhere at this bottom end of the table, and he would be guaranteed a shot on the black. And you know, as we saw, the yellow just got in the way. Yeah, it's a terrible look, and absolutely nothing you can do about that. Just part of the game sometimes.
Mickey Oliver's got rid of his problem ball with his free shot. This should be a clean-up. These are situated very nicely.
It should be, Steve, but as we know,
it's not been easy for these two. He did it in the last frame, and that hopefully, from his point of view, will give him a little bit of confidence to do it again. Stalks the table.
I think he can just drop this in the centre and hold for the other yellow into the bottom left.
See there, just using the hole of the pocket, just to enable him to create an angle to hold. That is nice and simple, and this couldn't be simpler. It will be 3-1 to Mickey Oliver.
They're the blacks we dream of. Pot in every frame, just leave nice easy blacks, and that was courtesy of Steve Thompson, who developed that black earlier in the frame.
Yeah, that's a real kick in the teeth, isn't it, for Steve? He's had to work very, very hard in that frame, and at the very end of it, it's just run against him. And you can see he's still thinking about that shot.
He definitely is. A little shake of the head and a little wipe of the cue. He's going to be thinking it should be 2-all and 3-1 down in a race to 6, but you know, he's been around long enough. He'll regroup and go again.
And Mickey here, seemingly a little bit more relaxed after that frame. He's having a chat with a couple of members of the crowd. You can see there, 40 minutes for 4 frames. 10 minutes a frame on average for the maths fans. He gets a couple of balls down. Black looks to have gone pretty safe. Let's have a little look at this again. 2 in the same pocket.
Yes.
On the top cushion.
That's the first time he's potted a ball from 3 breaks, so an improvement in those stats.
Stay to the table, what are his thoughts?
Well, I think his only option is reds, so and pot this into the centre. And well, there's no problem balls as such, but his key focus will be getting onto this one. And this ball as well needs to ensure he gets great position, because he's obviously got the black here, and at some point he'll be looking to pop that into that bag there. So with that in mind, he'll just be thinking about his route round the table. He could be tempted to take the one up the rail into the black pocket now.
But no hesitation in calling the extension there. You quite often see this, don't you, with pool players? They like to take the time at the start of the frame, and then once they're into the groove, then it can be free flowing. Pot's nicely done. What Mickey Oliver will do is, like most players, he'll work his way back from the black. So he'll have thought out his whole process here.
Yeah, he's going to try and punch this off the cushion to take this ball into the bottom right, and he's played that well.
Yeah, that wasn't easy. You saw the ball rattle in the jaws there. Had to play that with a little bit of pace. Made the pot missable. He played it well. Just see here the difference in the confidence. He now doesn't look like a man who's going to miss a ball.
Yeah, so he's going to want to bring the white out to pretty much somewhere where the white is now. He needs that to bounce off. Yeah, he's a little bit short on that one. So his option now is going to try and obviously pop that white into there. I think he's going to have to try and stun the white over like that, or he could even try and get in behind it that way. He has got options.
Important shot. Oh, he doesn't get it.
And I think what he was doing there, he was trying to pinch the pocket so he could run the white through. I'm not sure that shot was on.
Here's the shot again.
Yeah,
didn't come too close to it, did he? And you just hear the shout there as soon as that miss came in. How a snaky. His supporters trying to arouse a response.
Yes, Snaky Thompson, that's his nickname. And yeah, just to the shot before with Mickey Oliver, he's tried to pinch the pocket so that he could just roll the white through. I'm not sure that shot was on. I think a nice stun across the table would have given him a couple of better options, but now he's in a whole world of pain in this frame.
Yeah, this is not an easy snooker to get out of. Already used his extension. 20 seconds to figure out how to hit that red at the top of the table.
Well, I think he's using about 4 cushions on this one.
And you see the influence of the shot clock there. He didn't really want to play that. He sort of changed his mind. Now has to play it.
Yeah, he was looking at an adventurous one on that one.
And now a chance for Steve Thompson. One he really should take.
Yeah, hit the yellow with his cue.
I was going to say, yeah, you just see there a couple of incidences of foul play from Mickey Oliver there. Referee well on top of things.
That was all down to the shot clock. He didn't have time to line it up properly.
Steve intelligently there, just leaves the black over the pocket. It's a gimme now. The black at least. Those 6 balls will still look pretty difficult when he's only got 1 frame on the board.
So he's probably going to take this one. He's got options. He can take that one or the one into the bottom left-hand corner. Every pool player sees finishes differently. When the balls are in open play like this, there's various options, various different ways you can go. So trying to get them right on the telestrator is virtually impossible, but Again, he can take the one into the left centre, he could take the one into the right centre. He's got the route mapped out in his mind.
Should be straightforward from here, shouldn't it? What a difference this would make. Difference between 4-1 and 3-2 is huge in a race to 6. He doesn't want that to keep rolling. He didn't want that to keep rolling. Little look in his eyes there, which went, oh, thank goodness. He's still okay.
Yeah, nothing like making life hard for yourself here. I mean, he's just overhit that by a foot.
There's the pot.
Again, it needs that to... And he's played that pretty well. He's played it pretty well. He's just
Well,
going to have to...
could have played that really after initially massively overscrewing.
Just a delicate one into the middle. Looks wide.
Oh, would you
wide.
believe it? Now this frame is very interesting because Mickey here doesn't have... What does he do here?
Well, I was hoping you wouldn't ask me that question.
Well, it's a really difficult one, isn't it? It really is. He's not happy, Steve, but I think you'd still have to make him favourite for the frame, wouldn't you?
Well, I mean, he can send this red around the table. He could maybe... Let's have a... He's just going to maybe go for 2 cushions.
And he's potted the yellow anyway. Now, will he knock the black in as well? Oh, well, I tell you what. I don't think he could have ended up leaving that red nicer. Now, I just wonder if Steve can put... I think he can get through. Yeah, absolutely fine. Takes that. That's a skill shot to end, and it was a free shot, so he had that luxury.
Yeah, I mean, neither player has settled. You know, we can see the missed pot stats, 6 pots each missed. I mean, you know, in a normal match, that's they'd be nowhere near that, and that's obviously the pressure of the situation.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they can recover from this. We are at the halfway point of this one. It is 3-2 to Mickey Oliver. How will the second half of it go? We'll find out after the break. back, ladies and gentlemen, to FreeSports 2, the Champions Cup of pool. Really tight game here between Steve Thompson and Mickey Oliver. And we saw this actually in our first game with Mark Farnsworth and Jordan Cunningham. Both were a little bit edgy before the break and then played a whole different ball game in the second half, and both of these players will be hoping that's the case. Breakers away from Steve, and it looks like it's going to come up dry for him. He's actually broken that really well, and we noticed this actually during our coverage of the World Championships here on FreeSports, is that sometimes as a player, when it rains it pours, and Steve Thompson at the moment will feel like he can't do anything right. It must be so frustrating.
Absolutely, and in your first live TV performance, the last thing you want is for the whole world to be against you, and that's exactly what Steve's going to be feeling right now. But he's just got to stick in there for however bad it's been. He is only 3-2 down, so there's only one frame in it.
Yeah, I think that's the source of consolation, isn't it, for Steve? The fact that he will know within himself he's not played particularly well, but he's well in this match. If he can get something going. Okay, Oliver here just surveying the table. Looks like a pretty good setup for him. You can see there the shot clock ever ticking. Where's his problem areas then? Okay.
So this one here, this ball here is obviously a little bit of a problem, but he'll be looking to double it into there at some point.
He might even be playing it now.
Yeah. Not sure if he had the angle, but
played nicely.
He did.
Always looks so nice when a double's played at a pace like that, but in reality, actually for a pool player, those shots are totally routine.
They are, but there's definitely some players who are better at them than others, and we saw that in the World Championships. Some great exponents of the double, and the double has become almost part of a routine finish now. You know, it's not a surprise if somebody leaves a double, whereas maybe a few years ago, it wasn't a shot that you'd want to leave yourself. But such is the attacking nature now of the game and these players that no one's afraid to take a double on anymore.
And these balls look pretty well set for Mickey here, all gathered in the same cluster at the top of the table. Black is available into the middle pocket. You just need to be careful to be below it off the final ball, but this should be 4-2. Where's his white ball there?
That almost went wrong. I think he's still okay.
It's hard to tell off that facial expression, isn't it? Let's just take a look. I wonder if he's just gone a little bit far. Oh, he had to swerve around it, I think. Misses the pot.
Yeah, that is really careless there from Mickey Oliver.
He just had to really chop down into that little hint of swerve to get it round. Couldn't see the potting angle. Right, Steve Thompson has a chance. What's he looking at?
Well, he's got a bit of a mixed bag of a table here. Obviously, he's got this ball here on the side rail that could cause him some problems. But as we know, he won't be shy in leaving a double if that's what he needs to do.
I think he'll be pleased that the other ball on the cushion at least has a partner down by the pocket. That should make that one fairly straightforward.
Again, his positional play is just not ideal there. He's sort of not fantastic on anything. I wouldn't have been surprised if he was trying to leave that white to play the double straight away. Otherwise, he could have, brought the white further down the table. But I think he's committed now to playing a safety. And he's not hit it.
Oh, did he just get that at the end?
It didn't hit a cushion though.
Of course.
That's a nervy, edgy shot there from Steve. That is so unlike him. I mean, he's usually got a pretty good touch, but I mean, he was nowhere near.
Yeah, and this is a big opening now for Mickey Oliver.
So again, for anyone who's new to black ball rules, you've got to hit a cushion after contact.
Unless it's a pot.
Unless it's a pot, of course. And yeah, that was really careless there from Steve.
And that has essentially ceded the frame to Mickey Oliver, who probably couldn't believe his luck when he got up to the table there. That is the easiest 4-2 he'll ever have to make. There's those stats so far, and been a very, very scrappy game. The missed pots is, compared to total balls potted, it's almost 1 in 4, which is incredible.
Yeah, incredible stats that Mickey Oliver's missed 7 pots, Steve Thompson's missed 6, but yet Mickey Oliver's 4-2 ahead.
It is quite remarkable, isn't it? It really is. It's almost become a point at which point they've missed those pots, which is made the difference in the frame. And of course, there's no stats that'll legislate for quite that shot from Steve Thompson. It was a foul, yes, but it really just threw away the frame. Mickey Oliver isn't dry off that break. He does get a ball down, and the Reds look fairly inviting here, I must say.
Yeah, nice break. Ball in the bottom left as we look. And again, all the Reds out in the open. He's just got to work his route out. He's probably going to put that one into there first and then just try and disturb that yellow.
Yeah, beautifully played.
Yeah, controlled that well.
Yeah, the Reds look good. He might even, I think he is, yeah, he's going to take on the one on the cushion first off. Players like to do is get their problem balls that were out of the way early, and he's done that well. And you just see here, don't you, the difference in Mickey Oliver having a little bit more confidence. That pot was very missable in the first frame he played. He didn't look like he was in much trouble there.
Yes, I mean, potting is Mickey's game. He's a great potter, but he's using all of the bag for these pots.
Well, sometimes players do use right in the extremes of the pockets for angle. I don't think that was the case for Mickey there.
I mean, look at that. He's used every millimetre of the pocket on that one. I think has he possibly overrun that one? Looking at that red into the right centre, I think he's...
Yeah, he can't get it.
Yeah, he's overrun that one, which shouldn't cause him a problem.
Yeah, just have to play around a couple of cushions here.
Yeah, he's going to be looking to pot that into the bottom left-hand corner as we look as his last ball. So he's going to spin this white round off 2 rails.
Naturally beyond the black. This is the pot that he'll be hoping secures him the frame. He's not happy with it though.
Again, it's a little bit thinner than what he would have liked.
He's got to worry a little bit about where the white ball's going here. He's played it with screw. Has he overdone it? Is he on it? He is. He doesn't like it, but he is. Could have been worse.
Yeah, it's one of those. He's on into neither middle or corner. I think the right corner would be my preferred choice, but it's just about how he sees it. He's going middle. It's going left middle. It's on its way.
Oh, he's played that really nicely. Good recovery, gets good reaction here in the Sky Lounge as well. I think people realise how difficult a shot that was.
That was definitely missable. Again, used all of the bag that was there, and the pace of the black meant that it fell to the bottom of the pocket.
There we go. Mickey Oliver is one frame away from entering into the final versus Mark Farnsworth. He's played that nicely, and you just see the gradual progression in Mickey's play throughout the game here. He's got better as the game's gone on. Steve just hasn't really ever got a chance to get going.
Yeah, that piece of real bad luck has, you know, it's been the story of his match, to be honest. You know, he screwed the white down to could have landed anywhere, and kissed the yellow and just left himself with no shot on the black, and it's been the story of his match so far. But as we know, in black ball you can easily run 4 frames on the trot if things go your way, so don't count him out just yet.
Yeah, stranger things have certainly happened, especially in this game. And he's going to ball down, so we'll be back at the table. But even though he's got a ball down, this isn't the best lie for him. Quite a few problem areas.
Yeah, nothing easy here at all. I think Reds are a slight favourite, but his problem ball could be that one. No obvious pocket for that ball, and no obvious way he can develop the pocket. So
yeah, let's call for an extension just while he thinks about this. I see there's a shot clock at the bottom of the picture. We'll have to make a decision soon.
it's a clever shot. He's a little bit unlucky there. He's played the plan to try and develop the difficult yellow. So probably was a good shot to choose. Just didn't execute it as well as he would like. So this yellow there is a problem for him, but he's played a containing safety.
Yeah, just didn't like the lie of the table there at all. And Mickey Oliver comes to the table, knowing he's potentially one visit away from securing his place in the final here, but one suspects one visit would be very, very impressive from here. Nothing easy. In fact, I'm not sure he's got an obvious pot on, really. Red to the right side, maybe into the middle pocket, but it's very risky.
Well, one shot that he may look at is this. Is the double into there. If he did, that would really make things a lot easier for him for the finish.
This wouldn't only just get him at the table, it'd get rid of his problem ball. What a good shot that is. He's got a couple more difficult issues, but that's a really nice shot. That's the shot of a player in good form.
Yeah, he cued that well, so he's you know, he's starting to feel more comfortable in the surroundings. He's 5-2 up. Those shots are a lot harder when you're 5-2 down, that's for certain. What he's looking to do is to put that in there, and if that red doesn't go in the middle, he's just going to try and stun the white and just develop that red a little bit further towards that middle pocket. Hit the yellow. I think he would have preferred to hit the red. Yeah, he could have punched that a little bit harder, but
not the easiest lie for him here.
I think the only shot he's got is to try and clip this red down into this bottom left-hand pocket.
Looks like the shot he's playing. The shot he's played. It's very, very difficult. And you see that.
Yeah, he missed that by quite some distance, and I think that was the pressure of the shot clock, because the countdown timer was on for the last 10 seconds, and yeah, you can see he was way off with that one.
Yeah, he did seem to rush it a little bit, didn't he? Easy to do, and perhaps as we see more players get a little bit more used to the shot clock, almost as soon as they hear the first beep, a little bit of panic sets in. But 10 seconds is still quite a long time to play the shot. It is, yeah, but you know, as you said, the guys are not used to it, so maybe they might do some practicing. All the guys who are coming up over the next 15 weeks, they may well do some practice with the shot clock. Yeah, we had Simon Webb in here earlier, who said he's going to get a mate along to his practice just to bring a bell along, or bring a stopwatch, bring an alarm, something to help him get used to it.
I bet his friend's looking forward to that.
Well, Steve gets a perhaps unlikely reprieve in this frame. It did look really on for Mickey Oliver, that, but Steve has got an issue there with that yellow and black, and he's going to look to try and develop that as early as he can. He might even try and play it off this shot into the corner. Just screws back.
The yellow nearest the black, it may well go into this left centre, into there. So if he can work the white ball with these two balls,
yeah, I can see there. I think he does.
Yeah. Again, he just wants to get the white into this, anywhere in this area here.
There you can see it does just go. It's not an easy shot. The white's in the area he wanted.
Again, he'd have just liked another couple of inches there to make this pot easier.
This isn't easy, and it's especially not easy for a player who's been struggling for a little bit of consistency and a little bit of confidence as well. Doesn't have to worry about going in off the reds over the pocket, but he could get bogged down in them. Might not leave himself on the black. Takes a look at the shot clock. You can see it there, ticking right behind him.
He's got to hit this absolutely perfectly. He's played it well.
He's played that just about as well as he could have. Again, he's a little unlucky. I'm not sure the black passes the red into the centre. He might just have to take it up to the top, which makes it a little bit missable.
A lot of pressure on this black. He knows this could be his last shot of the match if he misses it.
He's played that really, really well, the positional shot. This is key.
That looks good.
Brilliant shot.
That is a great shot.
With the pressure that Steve Thompson was under there, that had to go, and it did. Played it really, really well. And that may just make all the difference in the world.
He might. He's just got to hope that he can get to the table when Mickey breaks.
See there, a round of applause from Mickey as well, acknowledging what a good shot that was.
Yeah, that was a tremendous shot. Tremendous shot.
And those are the stats. Pretty even for a lot of stats, it must be said. Mickey Oliver actually still has missed quite a few more pots than Steve Thompson.
Yeah, he's winning that one, and you know, before the match started, you wouldn't have expected that. But you know, we're seeing what the pressure of the situation is doing to these guys.
And the key stat there: fouls are even, but one of those fouls from Steve Thompson did essentially throw a frame to Mickey as well. It's difficult to sort of get the lay of the land from those stats particularly, but it does show us a few indicators. There's the racker setting up the balls there. Used at every IPA event. Might not see it down your local, but a great way of making sure they're all exactly how these pros like them. They're very fussy, some of them, when it comes to how the balls are set up. Can't moan too much when the racker's involved.
I'm glad it's you who said that they were fussy.
Just an observation.
That saves me getting any grief.
I mean, of course, they do have every right to be. You know, when the balls aren't touching from the break, it can make such a difference.
Absolutely, yeah. It's you know, it's probably the most important shot of the frame. So Yeah, it's absolutely imperative that those balls are set up perfectly. And that's what the racket does.
So Steve chooses yellows. That's interesting. It's just knocked the black a little bit safe there. It was a nice little shot to clear out his balls at the bottom of the table, but he has knocked the black a wee bit safe.
I wonder if that black goes into that left-hand corner bag where those two reds are. So even though Steve's 5-3 behind, if he can somehow sneak this one, it's his break next. Potentially we're looking at a last frame decider.
Would feel weirdly appropriate in this game, wouldn't it? Both players really have struggled to get into it. It looked like Mickey was threatening just to kick on and take the win. And Steve Thompson, with huge credit to him here, has really battled back into this match, and if he can win this frame, he'll feel like he's in a really good position. Put a lot aside on that ball just to hold it where it is.
So ultimately he's going to have to get the white into this area so that he can put that yellow into there and then follow it with the black into there, into the same pocket. So it's all about these next two positional shots.
Yeah, the pots should be, in their own sense, fairly routine, but he does have to worry about the white. And you can see there, that's the conversation he's having in his own mind. How do I do that? This is the key shot.
Yeah, and he's played that well, so he's left himself a really nice angle to put this into there and to bring the white down here, just to land somewhere around there in this sort of area. That's what I'll be hoping.
Doesn't want to leave himself low on this yellow, can overhit this. He's perhaps undercooked it a little bit, but he's still on it, I think.
Yeah, a little bit of a tentative one there, I think, from Steve.
Is that just a degree of him playing safe, not wanting to miss the pot? He knows he's going to be on it, but it's a little bit more difficult than maybe he would have liked.
Yeah, so what he's going to do here now is use those two reds near that left bottom corner pocket as a cushion, I think. Well, he's just trying to roll it in dead weight.
He's played that really well. Now this black is missable. Difficult along the rail, especially when it's got a long way to travel. So you can see it's right in the middle of that bottom rail. Big shot for Steve Thompson, this.
He's missed it.
It's overcut. It is overcut, and has Steve potentially played his last shot.
Yeah, I'll be disappointed with that effort. Didn't really threaten the bag.
Yeah, the perfect angle there, didn't we? Just saw as soon as it connected, as soon as it deviated from its flight path. This is now looking good for Mickey Oliver here. Should be routine from here. The only thing that could perhaps trip him up is a little bit of a loose white ball. And even then, these balls are very open. Nothing in the way, of course, with no yellows on the table.
I really can't see any problems here, but you just never know. Again, that used all of the pocket. This should be pretty much ABC.
Yeah, and the fact he's got that red right at the bottom of the table alongside the black, he couldn't have an easier positional shot for the last ball. Just needs to make sure these two go, and it should be game, set and match. Mickey Oliver then has two of the simplest pots to put his place into tonight's final. There's one. This should be two for a 6-3 victory. It's there, and he's done it. good win for Mickey Oliver over Steve Thompson, who will be so gutted he came so close to really fighting back in that one. Couldn't quite get over the line in that frame. And there we see the final stats, Kev.
Yeah, it just wasn't Steve's night really. Nothing really went for him. He had some bad luck. Mickey was marginally just the better player, and he's through 6 frames to 3. So he's going to have to up his game a little bit to have any chance of beating Mark Farnsworth, but he's certainly more than capable.
Well, we will find out if he can do exactly that. The final is next. It's Farnsworth versus Oliver after the break. welcome back. That is what's on offer to the eventual winner of the IPA Champions Cup. After 21 hard weeks of competition, that is the prize on offer. Kev Barton described it earlier as a glass FA Cup. I think it's a pretty accurate description. We've got our final then in qualifying round 1. Reminder how this tournament works. We travel the length and breadth. The top 64 players all having a shot to win the Champions Cup at each of their local qualifiers. We are in the northeast. We're in Washington for qualifying round 1. Mark Farnsworth versus Michael Oliver is our first final. It is 1st to 6. Mark Farnsworth, world number 1, taking on Mickey Oliver, who did have a few issues in his game against Steve Thompson. Took a little while to get into it, as we were saying on the commentary. It's not the most surprising thing when these players are playing in a big game on live TV. Like I say, I'm joined by Simon Webb again on the commentary, and it was a tough game, that second one, for both players.
Yeah, I watched it from the arena, and both players seemed to struggle to get back into their rhythm and get going. I think probably a combination of factors, and the first match on live TV is probably definitely got a factor in that. And yeah, and it's a big tournament in its own right as well. So, and they'd have a lot of friends and family around as well. So yeah, I think Michael did well there. He sort of seemed to pick his game up towards the end of the match, and probably the difference.
Now, before Kev left us at the end of the last game, he did mention that Mickey certainly has the game to trouble. Mark, would you subscribe to that opinion as well?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a fairly short race in the pool world. It's a race to 6, and Michael's definitely got the game to challenge Mark if he can get off to a good start and put him under some pressure.
Mark will break first then, and if he can get his break going, he'll be a very, very tough player to beat. That's a pretty decent spread, although those 4 balls in the bottom corner look a nightmare, and he's just had the look on his face there that suggests that. He did go with a red in the middle bag, so he does have a shot at the table. But Simon, talk us through this one. What are you looking at here?
Yeah, he's got some problems. Yeah, as you say, they're all really, really congested. You've got all the balls along this rail here are all a problem for each other. They're all causing problems. The rest of the table is pretty clear, apart from that little line of balls that are rowed up there.
Do you automatically then lean towards reds as it's the nearest one over that pocket?
Yes, but if he could play one of these 2 yellows on the bottom rail off the first red into the pocket to take yellows, then yellows would be slightly better. So it depends if he feels he can play a yellow off the red over the pocket.
Did just use his shot extension there, Mark Farnsworth. Not a huge surprise as he tries to process this one. Players only getting 45 seconds a shot. They get a 30-second extension once a frame. And as I mentioned, no surprise to see Mark using his. He chooses reds first. So what's his ploy to get those 2 out of the bottom left?
Yeah, it's difficult to see how he can go into those. The red in the open isn't easy to use to go into that area. He's not a good angle on either of the ones at the top, and it's difficult to get an angle on the ones at the top to go into that area because they're so far away from it. So it's very, very difficult for him. I think a safety option is possibly the way he's thinking.
Yeah, he doesn't like it, does he? He's playing the one in the middle of the cushion. Just trying to free that one out.
Yeah, red's he's bumped out the hardest red. The one nearest the pocket is less of a problem, but it still doesn't pop from while the yellow it's next to or is above it is there. But he's bumped the hardest one of those reds out. And now all his reds go apart from that red over the pocket, but that red over the pocket gives him the control, so he can pull back a little bit with a little bit more comfort than Michael.
Get a feeling that Mickey Oliver here might well use his extension as well. Or is he? No, he's straight down to play.
I think if Michael can take this along the top rail and get to the right-hand side of the table, we can see that he will either look to take the pocket back off Mark, or he can try and pop this yellow off the red. I would be surprised if he goes for the latter because of the 2 other yellows on the side rail. But he can certainly get this yellow in the pocket.
He's actually played that shot really well. At the start of the last game, Mickey Oliver wouldn't have made that shot.
Yeah, I think it took just enough time for them to settle. Doesn't want it to drop. That's a good shot. See a little table tap there from Mark. That's just saying good shot. You see that from some players. Mark,
he says good shot, but at the same time he's trying not to look too pleased about it. That is a huge irritant for Mark there.
Yeah, I think Mark's one of the most respectful players you can play against, actually, in terms of if your opponent, as an opponent, if you play a really good shot, he will acknowledge that.
Yeah, that bottom pocket is about as congested as it possibly could be.
He's got an opportunity here. If he's straight enough on this red to the right centre, if he can get the white to somewhere here by potting that red to the right centre, he will leave an angle to be able to cannon into the 2 yellows and the red that are causing the problem.
Just tried to do it off the end ball. Oh, he's played that well. Gets the yellow out the way.
He probably had a little bit more angle on that into the centre than I thought, but that's a fantastic shot. He's not got a pot on, but clearing that yellow away, he can now play a nice snooker. It's a difficult snooker as well, but he's got to be very careful not to pot the white. Oh, that's a much better shot than it looked.
Yeah, difficult. We actually saw him play a similar shot on the black ball at the World Championships a few days ago over the pocket. Very, very difficult to get those shots right.
Yeah.
Not just in terms of the weight of the white, but also getting your cue out of the way quick enough.
Yeah, absolutely. He was so close to potting the white with that shot. It's such a delicate shot. It's never one you want to play, but you knew you had to there.
And all of a sudden, this frame looks like it is Mark Farmer's favour. Mickey Oliver here has got a difficult shot. And it's made difficult as well.
Extension.
Yeah, no surprise to see the extension played by Mickey here. It's made difficult as well because he knows he has to leave the white somewhat safe in an ideal world. Whether he can is a different issue.
Yeah, he needs to. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't hit a yellow, but he could leave Mark on quite easily.
Well,
he has fouled.
1 free shot, 1 visit.
Yeah, interesting on this. Mark will have to use his free shot here just to free up that yellow and red, which have now stuck together.
Yeah, for me the key here, I mean, he was hoping to get a foul from that snooker and probably use it on the red at the bottom left of the table, because that red's awkward as well. But because that yellow that Mickey's just hit has gone to that red, he had to use it on that one instead. The previous shot he played, where he feathered off the red, just opened it up enough that he can pot it. I was wondering if it was too tight, but he's okay.
It certainly is. This red into the middle isn't the easiest, but he's pretty much guaranteed to be on the red at the top unless he's blocked by the black, so he has to be a little bit precise here. Doesn't want to be behind the black. He's played that perfectly.
Yeah, that's a fantastic shot. So easy. That black would have looked like a football to him with the could have been so easy in the way.
Mark Farnsworth on his way to a win in frame 1. A really difficult table, navigated expertly, as you might expect. The world number 1. Beautifully played, and he leads by a frame to 0.
You could just see how close he is. The line of that white is, if it stops short at all, it's behind the black. And he controlled that so nicely. We saw Mark at the start of his first match a couple of hours ago just have a few problems with controlling the white and missed a couple of pots. I think the way he finished off that first match, I expect him to be sharp throughout this match now.
Yeah, he mentioned in his interview that the table it's very new, so it is sliding about a bit more than he was expecting perhaps at the start of that match. Now he's had a little bit of almost you'll see that as a practice on it, really, just to get a bit of experience on this table. He'll feel now that he's in control.
Yeah, I completely agree. The table's playing just a little bit slidey. Brand new cloth, brand new ball, brand new table. We saw this at the World Championships with brand new tables. It just took a day and a half for it to really settle down and play absolutely beautifully.
Here's the break, and Mickey actually had a few issues with his break in the game against Steve. He came up dry quite a few times, but he was breaking fairly well. The balls are spreading, just not going in, and that's an issue, especially around a player like Mark. He's looking at these reds like a meal.
Yeah, again, that was another better shot than it looked. That was quite acute from where he was.
Is there any problems you can foresee here for him on the Reds?
No, these are sort of finishes that Mark is just relentless with. So clinical. The balls are all in the open. He doesn't have to do any cannons, doesn't have to nudge anything out. He just needs to work his way through with good close cue ball control, and this is where Mark is just so good.
Yeah, you see him there just stepping down, just past the yellow, perfectly played. He's then gone to the next one.
The only thing that, unless the red, I mean, it's not, I'm trying to build a problem because the red next to the black goes to a couple of pockets, and he wanted to make that skill shot because he's perfect on the red for the black. Wouldn't have been a problem if it didn't go in, but I was just saying that the red next to the black, I was trying to say it could be awkward, but it really wasn't.
Trying to almost play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
That was clinically done from Mark Farnsworth. That's what he can do. Demolition job, really, in that frame. And that's where Mickey will feel, he'll feel aggrieved about that, because he had a perfectly fine break. If a ball would drop, that frame could have gone very, very differently.
Yeah, that's where the break can be so cruel, because you can see how many balls, you know, he had a really good split. You know, the balls were spread all over the table, nothing was touching. Both colour sets were okay, just couldn't get one to go in. And when that happens, you just feel like your opponent's always going to clear up. You just, in those situations though, you just need to hang in, because the breaks can change around. If you continually hit the break well, you are going to get the better of it. You just have to hang in there and hope your chance will come. And when you get that chance, you really need to take it.
2 frames to 0. Time running.
2-0 then for Mark Farnsworth. And he's even breaking really well. This is ominous, isn't it?
Yeah, he's looking very, very sharp.
You almost take excellent cue ball control and great break building as a given with Mark Farnsworth, and he's breaking really well as well. That's a really, really good sign that he's in tip-top form.
Yeah, if he can find a way to just break it a fraction better on a more consistent basis, then the rest of us on the tour are really going to have a problem. Because when he's got situations like this, he is relentless. The yellow on the top of the table, he probably wanted to be on that next, and he's just over screwed that. He would have liked the white to be an extra 2 inches higher up the table. He looks like he's still going to play that yellow, but if he doesn't play it now, that becomes a problem ball that he needs to get back up there and play, which is, I guess, why he's taking it now.
He made it look simple. You mentioned there, as yourself a player on the tour, Simon, how much are you excited for this Champions Cup? A really unique competition in the pool world.
Yeah, it's very, very exciting. It really is. I think the whole of the tour and the pool world is really sort of buzzing for it, and excited to see Paul on the telly and what it can do and where we can go from here. So it really is exciting times for the pool world and for the IPA.
Mark Farnsworth here. Looks like he's on his way to 3-zip in no time at all. This black might look long, but it's pretty routine for a player of his caliber. Take a look at that. 3-zip. And he is accelerating in this match. And already, with Mickey's second break of the match, you feel like he has to get this.
Yeah, he's under a lot of pressure now. Mark is just looking absolutely brilliant. He's looking sharp. As soon as the balls are open, you can't.
He's not potted a ball.
No, he's had. I think he's really had nothing to go at.
Yeah, he's not potted the ball. He's not had a missed pot. That really tells the story of the match, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's really up against it now, because Mark just looks so sharp, and that puts more and more pressure on you to. When you do, if Mickey gets his chance in this, if he makes a ball off this break and he gets his chance, you're just under more pressure, because you know any mistake and your opponent's going to clear up from it.
The perils of playing one of the best in the world.
Trading 3 frames to 0. Time running.
Mickey's about to break, and this one already is key. Has to get it right. He hear the clunk of the table. That's a good sign. Balls aren't easy, but he'll be pleased to be at the table at least. Yeah, just saw the red at the bottom of the table. They're really early on. And it's not an ideal situation, this, for him.
Yeah, he's got problems at both sides at the top of the table. 2 yellows and the red to the left, the red and yellow to the right. Both awkward. He doesn't, I guess he doesn't really know. I mean, I don't think there's going to be a particularly good chance for a finish on here. Maybe a case to take a colour set and then get to work with some good safety play. I think if you chase a finish here, you could just end up making it easy for Mark at the end.
Yeah, it's a nice pot early on from Mickey. Played that nicely. Elected for yellows, and he's just trying to figure out here his next move, because quite often in a safety battle, you absolutely want to have more balls on the table.
Yeah, absolutely. The more balls he pots without having a chance to clear, you know, he's sort of handing the initiative over a little bit. I wonder if he can just pot the yellow that's nearest the top cushion to the left. If he can just see enough of that, then yeah, I think he thinks he can just sneak this in. This will open up 3 balls if he makes this.
No, he so delicately.
He couldn't see enough of it. No, it's just as I said, he's got his colour set, and he's, you know, going to get to work from there.
It's difficult to tell from that camera view. He might have got away with it if Mark can't quite see the red full ball. He might have to respond with a safety. We'll have to wait and see what Mark elects to play here.
Yeah, I think Mark's got the. I think he can see the red to the right, top right. He really, in truth, doesn't want to pot it. If he can see it, to pot it, he wants to leave it there. It's causing a problem for Mickey. So he may look to just bump this over. Doesn't want that to go in. Oh, I thought that was going to fall. I think he thought that was going to fall for a second. Yeah.
Oh, it very nearly did, didn't it?
Yeah, and he really wasn't trying to pot it. He just wants to cover that pocket. And he's got the white so close to the yellow, he's limited Mickey's options. He's got, you know, nowhere to really go. I think he's just going to get this yellow out so it's away from that pocket with the red. And that's a very good shot.
Oh, it's very nicely done, isn't it?
Yeah, so yellows are really just starting to edge ahead here.
Yeah, the 2 reds that are together for Mark will be causing him a problem as well, because he has to get behind them on the left-hand side to have any chance of potting one of them, and that's difficult to do.
Yeah, I mean, his immediate problem is the red to the top left, but he will have to, you know, either have to develop those 2 reds or get right behind it, as you say. So, you know, there are a few problems.
He's at the table, and if he can get an angle to develop then 2 reds off this red to the middle, he'll be pretty pleased.
Yeah, if he does manage to get behind those 2 in a second, he may well leave an angle to get onto the red at the top or develop the red at the top. He just pointed his cue where, you know, on the left-hand side, which to me suggests that maybe he thinks this red goes to the top right and he won't have to play a cannon. He can play on it. It would require good close control. But if he doesn't,
he's got that.
Yeah, which he has. But as long as he doesn't have to play a cannon, it helps.
It's difficult. This it's very fiddly, even for a player of Mark Farnsworth's prodigious talents. Extension called.
Yeah. It looks like he's got an angle on this red and he's going to cannon into the 2 together. Don't know if he can avoid that. He'd love to be able to. Would love to be able to get the other. Yeah, it looks like he's guaranteed to go into the 2 reds.
He's even tried to do both. That couldn't have come out better for him.
Yeah, he's developed the 2 reds and the right and the red at the top all in one shot.
It's a heck of a shot, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, he was relying on an element of luck with that. He wasn't in complete control of the white. You couldn't be, but he worked it out and came up with a great shot.
Just runs it round off the top cushion, and you really would make Mark Farnsworth from this point on. And it's difficult to see how just a few minutes ago, but you'd make him odds-on favourite from here.
Yeah, he's just got too high up on the red. He wanted to catch that red a fraction fuller and send it towards the top right rather than, towards the side rail. So he's quite thin on that one, and he's probably going to have to go down for the one at the bottom. So he's got some travelling to do with the white on these final 3 balls, and the black is still on the rail. So plenty of work left in this finish.
Awkward cueing there as well. You can see him just gripping the pocket. Has got wonderful cue control, but it's not easy. And yeah, he misses it. Yeah, he just shakes his cue in frustration. It really is his first mistake of the match, but it could let Mickey in here to take the frame.
Yeah, he was deliberately trying to develop the black at the same time as potting that, and it would have, if it had that gone in, he would have had position on the red at the top. Very, very difficult shot. So this really is Mickey's first chance. There aren't really any problems. He's got to be a little bit careful when he moves from the top of the table to the bottom of the table. But I imagine he's going to look to take the 2 out in the bulk area first and then come down the table. If he can get onto the yellow on the bottom rail first, then he's going to have the other yellow to the centre, and the black should be there. So it's how he goes from the 2 on the right hand side to the 2 on the bottom of the table for me.
To be on the one at the top, as you mentioned. I don't think he is. Might take the one on the rail.
Yeah, he definitely wanted to be on the one on the top of the table. This just adds an extra element of difficulty, this finish. It's still there. He's got the one down the rail and he can play on the one to the middle, but rather than, if he finished straight on the one to the middle, he'll just top through for the black. Now he has to go up the table, back for the yellow at the top, and then get back on the black.
That one just squeezed its way in.
It's difficult to tell. If he's dead straight on this, then all he can do is really stun it in. If he's got an angle where he can just punch through with the line of the white to be just high of the middle pocket, it's absolutely perfect. Oh, that was perfect. Doesn't want to be straight. He probably is a little straight. I think if anything, he's just off. You just see a little grimace. He's just off straight the wrong way.
He's jacking right up here, isn't he? Gets really into the screw.
I mean, this black shouldn't be missed, but he would like to be an extra, foot closer to it.
Oh, what a good opportunity that's gone to waste. It wasn't an easy shot, but it's a shot that Mickey Oliver knows he was more than capable of getting.
Yeah, that was. It is a bad miss because you expect to make that black, but he knows that he would like to have been a good foot and a half closer to it to make it unmissable.
Mark Farnsworth now. That is as simple a clearance as you could ever wish to have if you Mark Farnsworth. Stuns it in 4-0. Oh, what a time to miss the black. This could be the moment that Mickey looks back on and think, it could have been different. There it is again.
Yeah, he missed it by quite a way as well. On those shots, you're always worried about hitting it a little thick and catching the near jaw. And with that one, he's gone the other way and he's missed it thin.
Is it a case of overcorrection there, do you think?
I think, for me, I always think if I know I should be a little bit closer to a ball or a little bit easier on a ball, sometimes that can just have a negative effect on your thought patterns. I mean, he really shouldn't have missed it. I say he would love to have been closer to it.
Mark Farnsworth is 2 frames away then.
Oh, another great break from Mark. He's got his break going today.
Let's have a little look at the state of play after this one. Yellow went straight in. And a couple of other yellows very close to the pocket. I don't think it's going to be the choice though. What do you think he's going for? It does look like he's going to nominate reds. They are more open.
Yeah, he needs to come out brilliantly. I mean, be absolutely shocked now if he doesn't clear up. He's got the red on the left-hand side that will need to be cued in, but he's got the red just above it, which sort of almost guarantees that he's going to be, almost perfect on it. So there really isn't. I'd like to build some drama here and say that he's going to have to do something, but they're really, he's in such good form in this match that it's so hard to see how he's going to go wrong. I guess it's going to be when he plays the one down the rail, which ball will he be playing on? He could leave it for the black, or he could pop the one to the centre now and then play on that one down the rail.
that looks like it's a choice he's going to make.
And we just saw a glimpse of the previous camera angle that both these reds go to the same pocket, so he has a choice with both. He's got a little bit too much angle, I think, to play the lower one of the two. So he's got to be careful with his positional shot. He's played that so well.
Yeah, perfect angle to move through here for the black. And that frame is over in absolutely no time at all. Nothing Mickey Oliver can do. When Mark Farnsworth breaks like that and clears out like that, he just has to really sit and take his medicine.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark is in brilliant form here. He's looking so sharp. He's just had that one missed pot, but it was a difficult shot, awkward queuing from distance and trying to cannon into black as well. Other than that, he has been flawless.
Really has. The reverse dish really would have helped, really would have hurt Mickey as well.
Yeah, I've certainly talked about Mark's break a little bit and how it sort of let him down a bit at the World Championships. But we've seen here he's had 3 breaks and he's potted from all 3, and he's had 2 breaking dishes, so looking very sharp.
We'll see if Mark Farnsworth can get himself over the line after the break. Here we go. Important break. Good break, and it might be in that even. Little smile between the two. They know each Very warm welcome back to the 2018 IPA Pool Champions Cup here on FreeSports. Mickey Oliver with his back against the wall, looking to produce a comeback worthy of Lazarus. It would be that sort of scale to stop Mark Farnsworth in this form, it really would. That genuinely isn't over-egging it feels.
Yeah, no, it really would be. I mean, Mickey's going to have to find something, he's going to start here hopefully with he's had a good break. He's got a great angle now on the yellow to the right centre to develop his only bad ball at the top right of the table. If this shot goes well, he should have a fairly routine run to the finish line in this frame. But yeah, I mean, he's going to need some help from Mark, because Mark is playing so well.
In a way, is this pressure off here for Mickey? He can sort of just really focus on playing his game. It is hugely unlikely that he can come back from this deficit, and he's really not had anything to do with being this far down. Mark's just played that well. So is the pressure off in a sense?
There is. You can free up a little bit, and you can just all of a sudden just find something. The pressure, if he was to get that far, the pressure could come on in a few frames time. But yeah, at this stage he's probably feeling quite free. In your head you're thinking I'm very unlikely. You haven't given up, but you're thinking I'm not. I'm big odds against. I'll just free up, try and win a frame or two, and make the score respectable. And then maybe then you'll start thinking about, can I put some pressure on Mark, and maybe I'll get a mistake or two.
He's quite fortunate there, since he can cue between those balls to get the one at the bottom.
Yeah, he's been very unlucky actually. He has developed that yellow that he went into, but to be finished where he is, because he would have thought there was it would be very unlikely for him not to be on the other yellow at the top of the table.
Oh, now he's going to get lucky. No, he's going to avoid both pockets. And the way that Mark Farnsworth has been playing, that could well be Mickey's last shot in the tournament.
No, it really could be. I believe both reds at the top end of the table go past the yellow. I think the one nearest the yellow at the top, it's tight, but I think he's got enough of it once the other red's out the way. So the only other problem from there would be the red on the side rail. Mark's got a slightly bad angle here for his first shot. The only red he can really pot is the one at the bottom, but the white's going away, so this is going to spin this off the bottom cushion. And
you can see there those reds at the far end of the table do go. They're tight, but if the first one, well, the lower one I should say, that does even pass between both balls should the option arise. He's a little bit unlucky with his positional shot there.
Yeah, if he just slid past that red, he would have been absolutely fine. But he could pot the red next to the yellow, but from this angle to he only has about half a pocket to play with. It would be very unlikely. So he's going to go for a double. If he goes for the red to the top right, he could go for the red to the top left, of course, that does go as well, but again, that's a very tough shot. If he goes for the red to the top right or the top left, there's a chance that he covers the pocket if he misses. If he goes for the double and misses, the frame will be over.
Yeah, I think that's his choice. Extension immediately called when he had the option. That's a really good shot. Red's on the move. Might just go safe, or it might just plant down.
Yeah, that was a really clever shot. Played the red off the red. It was a plant actually. That was so difficult to find the planting angle there. He has been unlucky unless these do plant.
He's just taking a look at it now. It was the only shot he could play there off that red. We'll just take a look at this now.
Yeah, I think if they were dead straight set to the corner, then he would have rolled through to play them straight. The reason he's stunned where he is so he can play the first red fairly full and control the white from it. If he had got the white across the right-hand side, then the white would have had to travel quite a long way as well.
It looks like he'll have to actually play the first red of the plant fairly thick as it is. Not a direct angle.
No, he'd be fairly full ball on this first red.
This would be a heck of a shot.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
Brilliant shot.
He really is playing some beautiful, beautiful pool at this stage, Mark Farnsworth. That is a tremendous shot. Really, really impressive. And I know we're only in week 1 of 21 here in the Champions Cup, but you'd have to go a pretty long way to see a better one.
Yeah, it's been a great performance in this final for Mark. But he is a couple of rolls short from making this black a certainty.
Played the double really nicely. Just needed a little bit more pace on it. It's not the easiest black. But this is for the match and for the final. And he's done it. Brilliantly played by Mark Farnsworth. 6-0 perhaps look a little bit harsh on Mickey Oliver, but in truth there really wasn't much that Mickey could do about it. Mark was simply that good. Brilliant stuff from Mark Farnsworth as he makes his way through to the last 16 of the competition. He now has the joy of about 15 weeks off.
Yeah, he can wait 15 weeks now before he has to play in the tournament again. He was superb there. Mickey, you can see he's had 2 missed pots. They're probably the only 2 frames he really got a chance in.
There we go, and those are the final match stats. We'll get the thoughts of our winner after this. Welcome back to the FreeSports Champions Cup. I'm with the winner, Mark Farnsworth. Mark, first of all, how did that feel in the final? You seem to play very, very well.
Yeah, delighted. Got off to a flying start. It's a short race. Obviously, Michael was up against it from got the first 2 or 3 frames on the board quite quickly. He missed the black, which you would never normally expect him to miss, but under a bit of pressure after a bad start. So I'm delighted to win and to play well as well. So over the moon.
And a bit of a special moment for yourself, obviously, in your own club to kick off this Champions Cup. Just talk us through your emotions.
Yeah, we're delighted to get the first 2 weeks of it. There's a few of the locals came out. Some of the locals probably haven't seen a lot of like decent standard pool as well. So pleased to put on a bit of a show for them as well. And the setup's been fantastic. So delighted.
Well, we won't see you again for another 15 weeks, but of course we wish you the very best of luck in the rest of the competition.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to Mark there, and we will now take a look back at just how he won that final. Well, beautifully done there from Mark Farnsworth, and that concludes the live action from the IPA Champions Cup this evening on FreeSports. We're going to leave you with some of the action from the weekend. A brilliant World Championships decided in the very final frame of competition between Simon Ward and Ben Davies. This was a belter. Let's relive that wonderful moment. And that even little smile between the two. They know each other so well. It's the first time Ben Davies in particular has broken his icy cool exterior. 3 sets each, 3 frames each.
A round of applause from the crowd there, and it's just all down to 1 frame. Simon, how's your break?
Final frame, Simon Ward to break.
Lovely moment there between 2 very, very good friends. Warmly received by the crowd here in Bradford.
It's the biggest break of your life, Simon Ward. Not got enough, has he? He's good, he's made a ball.
He gets a ball down. Now this is a very interesting setup. Got a ball down straight away. That was the most important thing. Just thought that white might have been towards the pocket, but it got blocked. And
now we might be seeing a 3-ball plant as your first shot. How do you like a 3-ball plant as your first shot in a World Championship decider? I think we're going to see yellow onto red, into there, and he needs to get the red back out. It's actually not quite as messy a table as it looks, because when he comes down table, he can play this red off of the yellow. It's actually not that difficult. It looks like a horrible table, but it's not. How's your luck? Oh, what's happened? Oh dear.
I'm not sure he's going to have a particularly easy shot here. The red has gone safe on the top cushion, or safe-ish. But he might have to, I think his only option here, if he's going to pot from the next ball, is to play another plant. Hasn't quite gone how he wanted.
No, he hasn't, and the yellows are kind of all there as well. I think we're going to see Simon play a plant at the bottom of the table here. He hasn't really got an awful lot of choice. Now, do you play the plant at pace? You're risking going towards the black. The last thing you want to do is lose a world final by fouling the black mid-frame. But the plant is fairly simple. If you do miss it, you're probably going to cover the pocket. Rather you than me. What's that black ball?
Well, he has covered the pocket. The black's on the move. The yellow is safe. Ben Davies will get a shot in this final frame. It was never going to be straightforward, was it? It just wasn't.
It's just never the way. Oh, dearie me. And now the black's tied up with the red. Oh, dear.
I think we're headed. Well, I hope you've not got any plans, ladies and gents. We might be here a little while for this one. Most of the yellows are in open table. That one in the top left there, Dan, what can he possibly do to free himself?
Well, he could potentially cut this in now and just go straight into it. A little bit risky in a world final. You're at a bit of an angle. Obviously, there aren't really any other. The black still doesn't go up in this top right hand side of the table, so maybe a bit risky, but are we going to see Ben attack?
And it's important to remember as well that whilst that pocket is covered, 8-ball rules do dictate, it doesn't matter if Ben pots a red ball as long as he pots a yellow, so he can cannon into that pack.
Yeah, we could well be seeing Ben's going game here. We did say that I can't ever see them wanted to go out in a safety battle, and Ben he's rolling the dice because he's going into it now. He's going to cut this yellow into the right hand middle pocket, and he's going to go straight into this problem area in the bottom left hand side of the table. How it comes out, I've got no clue, but I think you're going to see him hit it at a fair pace. Here we go.
He's just going to take
He's got back up.
30 seconds, I think, was just called by the referee.
Wants to be a little bit careful that the white somehow doesn't wiggle its way in after playing the skill shot. That will be maximum pain. You don't want that. With these though, you're kind of not. You're so unsure of how they're going to come out. You've just got to play it with conviction and hope for the best.
Crucial shot.
Don't miss the pot. He's made it. That's a great shot from Ben Davies. A great shot.
That could be the shot. And he looks back on in half an hour's time while he holds the World Championship trophy and thinks that was the one that did it. Huge shot. The black still is an issue.
Black still doesn't go. Now, the option, the shot that he has got, and he is going to have, is to play the yellow off of the red into the corner pocket. The problem is the red could be going anywhere here and just nicking the. It could be going anywhere. It could still tie the black up afterwards because the red isn't that far away from the pocket. So, that's one option. The other option is to just play it plain ball and run into the black. If you give yourself the right angle, you can come in and bump it out from behind. It all depends on what angle he's got here.
He has got an angle.
What are we going to do? We could just see him. If he's going to bump into it, he wants to bump into it from behind. He wants to bump into it from behind because he's likely to get it out from there. He probably doesn't want to risk. So if he bumps out from behind, he's going to have something. Even if it's a double, he's going to have a shot for the World Championship. So I think it is the right play.
Ben Davies here.
The only problem you've got, if you catch it thick, if you catch it before the cushion, the white's likely to come out and it's going to stay there. He needs to get it from behind, and he hasn't.
Now does he have the angle?
Oh, cameraman, get over there.
I think this could be it.
I don't know. Does it? So he has double kissed. Has it just about come out enough? Oh dear.
This is a crucial shot.
Simon will know. Simon sat right in line with it.
This is the angle we've got. He's taking it on.
It does go, it must go. He's there!
Ben Davies is the world champion. He's done it.
What a finish. What a finish and a decider from Ben Davies.
It looked like absolutely nothing was on. But Ben Davies has done it. He's the world champion. What a match. What an epic match. between two great friends and two great players. Wow, what wonderful memories on FreeSports. That fantastic World Championship final. Glad to take a look back at that this evening. The IPA Champions Cup is over, though, for the very first Monday evening. We've still got plenty more on the way, though, here on FreeSports. We will be back for the next 20 weeks here on Monday nights at 7 o'clock. We're back same time next week. We're back in Washington, and we can't wait to see you then.